Anyone interested in recapping for inspiration?
I will do it.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm also leveling orcs in Roll20.
That's right. Some of you actually made it to 10. I
Oh,
think most of you
miserable.
would have made it, huh?
That's a good
Whoopsies.
question.
So, after the mess that was the top of that was the battle at the mansion, we managed to find our way into and through the portal that was hidden within the guardhouse and triggered by, I believe, an amulet that one of the necromancers was wearing.
Mm-hmm.
We then um, tied up a couple guards who were napping. Might have left one with some lasting injuries, but he survived. And through an absolute bonkers series of conversations, managed to talk our way past Dragon Daddy Bren and convince him that we were buyers here to look at the creatures that the Beast Lord was creating. We saw all kinds of things, including the way I said that.
Dragon Daddy. Just
Okay.
the enunciation just killed me. Just continue, sorry.
I'm sure Adam will get right on that for you, Cody. We convinced him that we were here to buy some of the creatures. We saw wyverns, we saw hippogriffs, we saw manticore, we saw a nightmare, which instantly soul bonded with with Lily in a fairly one-sided relationship. And we met the Beastmaster, a mind flayer that was Bren's, air quoting here, boss. And we sort of were able to deduce that Bren had sort of been trapped here through some circumstances, which he has never really clarified. We tried to separate Bren and the Beast Lord through a ruse of pulling out the bond of the circlet and trying to convince him we needed to talk to him about them, but that flew him into a rage, and there was a fight during which Oryx died briefly. Bren was racked with all kinds of mental pain, and a mind flayer got pulped within a few rounds by compassion and many other attacks. After that, we were able to break the spell that the Mind Flayer had on Bren, and together with all 4 of the guards, we made our way back out in time to find the guards of Waterdeep arresting Decker, and then eventually us.
Sorry, why did they arrest Decker? Did she just,
Because
like,
she
was
showed
at
up
the
at
scene?
the scene of a large explosion
Right, okay.
and kept tying herself to us given what we had done.
Right.
We all agreed to go with them into the trust box, where we were basically arrested. But we were
trust
allowed to
box
keep
did
our
what?
things. The trust box was basically a jail cell where they did not actually try to forcefully detain us. It was the idea of, if you are legit about trying to tell your side and make sure that everything is okay, you won't try to escape. And so
Right.
far, we have not. We talked with Bren a little bit, who has revealed that he is, in fact, a copper dragon of some indeterminate age. And that was, I think, where we left off.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what I said at the end of last week was, what we're gonna do is kind of skip over a lot of what is going to be the formality of your guys' court hearings. But you are still, but I think it would still be fun to do like bits and pieces of those scenes. I think that'll be interesting. You guys already have so many resources that are going to help you get out of what really is a terrible violent crime that you have committed. And you guys have like you have good like decent persuasion to assist you, resources such as Faye's lawyer, Decker and her favors to the open lord. Like there are a lot of ways that are basically going to take, like I've already written out what your sentencing is going to be, because there's not really a way that you guys can fail to a
Challenge accepted.
to an extreme that would require that you guys be sent to Silverhold, the prison. But in the meantime, we're still going to have stuff happen that involves the next couple of days and your guys' meetings with the masked lords of Waterdeep. Ooh. Is there anything over the course of the night or come morning that you would like to establish you are doing, besides, of course, preparing for your hearings?
I'm probably gonna ask the room, because if it's a good idea, if I can like resummon Skronko.
I
It'd
thought
be
the
funny-
angry baby was dead.
Yeah, no, the angry baby, he is, but like his soul, I can just pull back into a body. They give me a replacement, but it's the same sort of Kreet.
Do we
if that
need
makes
him?
sense. I don't know. It's always nice to have, right? For me, of course.
Complete silence.
I mean, he can explain a little bit, right? Like,
Zira kind of just looks at the wall and is like, I wasn't exactly planning on that. You really think an imp would be good at explaining in a way that doesn't incriminate us?
no.
Yeah,
But,
I was gonna keep
I
him tucked
mean-
away.
He was there, so
He was.
it
Sure.
would at least show we didn't mean to cause quite so much damage.
Right. Well, here it goes. I'll just ritual cast my thing.
Mm-hmm.
Find familiar. Oh man, that's right. Hey, I can bring him back as not an angry baby.
That's
I
true.
realize I can bring him back. What if I bring him back as like a pseudo dragon and he just can't talk?
That would be preferable. He moves strangely and quickly. It is unpleasant to see.
Oh, really? I mean, it's not like he's an insect. I mean, maybe to you. He looks up at Val.
It is like an insect, but bigger. And it can speak and yell. And shrieks constantly.
Right. I'll keep him quiet while he's here. Yeah, I'll just re-summon him as an imp.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He appears quietly.
Oh, hey.
Ah! Hey!
So,
What?
Mm-hmm. How was it?
My skin got ripped off of my bones.
Yeah, in my defense, I definitely didn't know that it was gonna be that destructive. So, sorry?
It could be worse. It still hurt it like hell, but it was fine.
How did you die the first time? I forget about that one. That was probably painful.
Oh, crushed by the, I think, felt like a
Why
Like
would
a
you
long
remind him of
snake.
that?
Oh, yeah. No, that's...
I've never met him before in my life.
Well, okay. You're here now, and now you go away. I snap him into my pocket dimension.
Wow, you didn't even say goodbye.
Nope, not this time.
Okay. Anything else happening this evening? Okay.
Everybody gets a good berry.
Okay.
Cool. Thanks. Mine goes to my raven, as usual.
The raven swallows. No.
No, it
No.
just keeps it in its beak.
I think that might be weirder.
It is weirder because
It's
it
weird.
doesn't like require sleep or food or anything, so it's just like
Just
holding
holding
it in
it.
its mouth.
It's just weirder.
It's definitely weirder for sure.
Should sew him a tiny little bag. A little purse. Sorry. Stupid. Okay.
No, you're onto something for sure. I'm definitely gonna get that. Let me write that down.
Pro stack.
Yes, your good berry purse looks like my good berry purse, and I pull out the bird.
The
Oh,
pigeon.
God.
Yeah, the pigeon purse.
Ugh.
Ugh. I try not to make a face, but it's probably not working that good.
Okay, come dawn, based on the severity of the incident, you guys are told by guards that you are going to be brought to audience today because the masked lords don't actually have to meet very often. In fact, very rarely meet. So when something as insane as what happened last night happens, they're kind of available, which works out for you guys, truthfully. However, you are going to be meeting separately. You'll all be you'll all go together to the what will be the council meeting hall. But you will each separately be brought into audience in where you will give your report of what happened, and from there, you will receive your sentence. How does that sound?
I mean,
Terrifying.
Excellent.
have a choice.
I love it.
All right. So you are all brought to the castle ward, to the castle. And you've wandered through here a little bit before, pretty directly actually. It was less wandering. It feels more wander-y now, as you are taken through the main halls and then through less decorative and I wouldn't say well kept, but they're dark castle wings that you are brought through, where there's just not a lot of effort put into the appearance, and eventually down some stairs, then down some halls, and it feels like you are actually pretty low beneath the surface that is not unlit. There are torches and such, and then you are guarded as you are instructed to sit in a waiting room. None of you are required to be cuffed in this instance. However, it is very obvious that all of the guards carry manacles in case any of you start acting out. And let's see, alphabetically.
Oh shit.
Yes.
Oh, wait, are we going for first to last names? Because I might be really good or really bad.
It is by last name, but so few of you have last names.
Half of us don't have last names.
Yeah. Toby just said put you guys all under M for a mononym. Oryx is brought in first. Of course, you have the opportunity to resist or do something if you'd like to
Nah.
beforehand. All right, smart. You were brought into this chamber that is surprisingly tall, and the top is painted blue, and the ceiling is painted blue and is domed and has the crest that you've seen some of the Waterhavian guardsmen and the city watch on their armor, which is a crescent moon over some mountains reflected in the ocean. And above you, about 15 feet, it looks like, 10 feet, it's pretty tall, is this very large round bench and desks that sit above you. It doesn't look like there is like a stairwell to get to it. It looks pretty well, truthfully, protected logistically. And sitting there are 5 figures, all hooded, with gloves over their hands and smooth silver masks over their faces. And also, Lariel Silverhand, the Open Lord, is sitting up in the center as well. She is unmasked, but she is still hooded, similarly to the rest of them. You are instructed to sit in a chair that is in the center of the room and more or less surrounded by these masked figures.
I will sit down.
All right. You are instructed as well that upon entering this space, as soon as the door closes, you will be under the effect of the spell, the Zone of Truth. If you would like to, you are welcome to resist, but that action will be noted if you do so.
Nah.
Excellent.
I'll just let it hit me.
Yep, cool. A couple of guards remain inside, about 10 feet from you, and the door shuts. And you are asked to give your full name.
Oryx.
And they ask if there is a language with which, if you would prefer to speak out of common.
Yes, definitely in Draconic.
All right. In which case, someone offers to give you the tongue, enchant you with the tongues spell, so that you can speak as you would like, and everyone can understand.
Fair enough.
All right. That is done, and then you are asked to, in your own words, explain what happened, and you are warned also that you may be interrupted for questions.
We were doing reconnaissance on that mansion. I don't recall exactly how this got started, but we found a circlet that we were very familiar with. Circlets which allow the wearer, after a brief moment of abject terror, to speak with one Lord Decanter. We understood that these circlets exist, as far as we are aware, only among the allies of said beholder. We have found them in Lork, although we didn't find a particular person who was wearing them in that place. We found one among the possessions of the dragon Corlax in Zix. We found one in the possession of the fake Duke of Daggerford. I tried to remember her name, but I apparently did not write it down.
It's okay.
We found one here in Waterdeep in the possession of a hag, Marguerite Sidwis. And I'm pretty positive if you went into the Grey Peaks and found the former lair of Astraxel Thaldalon, there would be one in his hoard. I know that because while we served... Anyway, I'm getting off topic for what happened here. We know that those circlets are Decanter ally possessions. We have spoken to the Open Lord and the Blackstaff previously about the existential threat that Decanter presents to pretty much everything as far as we understand his motivations, which is admittedly not very far. We know he is breeding an army, and we know that among his allies was the Illithid known as the Beast Lord, who vanished from the Fallen Lands some time ago, at least a century ago. He was doing experiments on goblins there, and so it made sense that he would be in a house in Waterdeep which is breeding magical creatures for sale and presumably for other purposes. No doubt the price these creatures were bringing in was allowing the funding of multiple experiments and efforts. We endeavored to sneak into said mansion, and in an attempt to create a distraction, used a admittedly unfamiliar device which gained us entrance to the mansion ground. There was an attempt to make sure that loss of life was non-existent. We pulled guards from the towers and dropped them into the water. We sent some of them home. The people trying to stop us from gaining access had other plans, which we honestly should have foreseen, but probably didn't expect quite that level. Once the battle was done, we did locate the portal into the breeding grounds. I don't know exactly where it is because portal travel makes that unknowable to me. Where we found the Illithid, presumably the Beast Lord. I did attempt to speak to him on Decanter issues using the circlet as a ruse, but that made him very angry. And he attacked, we defended ourselves, we freed his prisoner, Bren, and then surrendered ourselves here. Well, to the guards on the grounds, I suppose.
You've answered how you came to understand, possibly, this creature you call the Beast Lord, which we express gratitude for. How came you by the device that you mentioned?
I do not know. I only know that it was presented as an option for distraction. We assumed it would be a small, controlled noise, not what it was. Otherwise, I don't see any reason we wouldn't have dropped that on Decanter instead.
And Oryx, what was your role within this operation?
I don't understand the question. What do you mean?
What was it that you were expected to do upon the invasion of the household?
Originally, I believe our plan was stealth. And sneaking, finding where the Beast Lord was. When battle was joined, I'm a trained fighter. I made sure to not kill. Although the guards will probably recognize a giant halfling. By the way, should he ever come here, please don't hold any of this against him. It was not him. It was a disguise for me.
One of them nods. And the creature Bren, you say that he revealed himself as a copper dragon?
I don't believe I ever said that, no.
You did.
I said that in the recap. I actually didn't say
Oh,
that
you
in
didn't?
my-
Okay, alright,
my
okay. That's where I'm
testimony.
confused. Alright,
Sorry.
that's fine. No, that's fine. I just, you did say that, so I was
I
trying to...
did say it
yeah.
in the recap. I did not
Yep.
say it during testimony because I didn't know
Alright.
if he had revealed himself to them or not, and I wasn't.
Yeah.
That's not my place. So.
Yep, nope, that's good. No, that's fair. Okay, let me think. And the intention, as we have spoken with Lord Silverhand, to incapacitate is probably not the proper word, but destroy, theoretically, these ties to Decanter, these allies, you call them. This was something you were given permission to do within Waterdeep.
I know I should come back and listen to that. When we spoke to the Open Lord and the Blackstaff, it was while we were told that it was a worthwhile endeavor, I won't say that we were deputized or given explicit permission to operate within the walls of Waterdeep.
And what thinks you the most fair passing of judgment for your actions, your crimes, and your intentions for what has transpired the past evening?
I don't know the laws of Waterdeep. I don't really even know the laws of humankind.
Then by your own estimation, if something of this nature were to happen within context of your own culture and home, what would you deem an appropriate punishment?
This sort of damage to the tribe, probably exile, which admittedly for a kobold is essentially a death sentence, but I wouldn't exactly say kobold law is anything to emulate.
Very well, thank you, Oryx. And you are dismissed. Next is Bren. Bren goes in. None of you guys hear what he has to say, but you have a second to speak if you'd like.
I just want to say, as I'm on my way out, things we recovered from the Beast Lord show that there is something happening the next full moon, given that one of Decanter's allies is a group of werewolves in the Trollbark Forest. We can be sure it has some tie to them. However long you wish to detain us, however long you wish to deal with us, just keep that in mind.
Very well, and thank you. You have a few minutes while Bren is bearing his own testimony. If you'd like to, you can speak with the others.
They're going to ask you all your version of what happened. They're interested in where the device came from. They asked me how we should be punished, which was weird. They'll
I look
try to
panicked
make you
to
tell
Faye.
the truth. You probably shouldn't resist that. That's all I have. That's all I can remember, I think.
Ah, shit. Hey, your contacts go by any, like, street name that's not their actual organization? I mean, granted, I don't know, but you do, Faye.
You don't know their names, and you presumably don't remember their locations, so don't say anything about it.
I nod.
Okay, and a few minutes pass. Bren returns and he's smiling. And Zira, you are called in next.
Oh, goody. Oh, boy.
Do you
All right.
resist the zone of truth?
No, I don't.
Okay. Zira Dalmer, can you tell us what transpired this evening and the events that led up to the incident in question?
We were given a tip initially that this particular person was had their hand in some illegal sale of beasts and mistreatment of such, as well as dragons and wyverns within the walls, so we decided to check it out. During my reconnaissance, I found that they were also allies of Decanter, given the circlet, and then confirmed use of the circlet to talk to Decanter. Then we decided to move on the place. We didn't admittedly have that much of pre-planning because we didn't want to waste any time. Once they knew the circlet was gone, they probably would have looked for us. So we decided to move, and our plan was to use a distraction, which ended up causing more destruction than distraction, regrettably. It wasn't our intention to, bomb the streets. The plan was to put it on the premises and then draw guards away. It didn't work. After that, battle ensued, and I'm sure you've heard the rest of it all the way through. Teleportation, etc., etc. Illithid was actually the person running this business and is a known ally of Lord Decanter. What else?
Well, we are very interested. Your companion also mentioned the device and something of its destructive capability. We are very invested in finding its manufacturer. How came you by this device?
Gold. She smiles, but then it quickly fades, and she says, if I'm gonna be honest, it was a long day of shopping. I can't quite recall where I got it, all that a drow person sold it to me. That's about as much idea as I can get.
Do you
It
recall
is-
which part of the city you were in at the time?
Me? Honestly, I don't. I was just following Faye around. But
You
I mean,
would
zone of truth is fucking powerful, but then again, I don't know how invested I would be about just like hanging around. But
True. I think that there is something, like, particularly with your passive perception and all, even if you don't know exactly,
Right.
like, the ward you were in per se, you were by the docks. There was no way to not recall that.
Sure, I'll give them that because I have to. Tell the truth.
And how much gold did you part with for this item?
200. That's why I didn't expect it to be a. I don't even know what to equate it to. Because it was fantastically cheap. So I assumed that it was going to be kind of like a smoke powder bomb, like one of the little ones with the fuse. It wasn't. And that was my mistake. Oh,
And yes.
no, go ahead. Sorry.
And what was your role within this, what we understand to have attempted infiltration stealth mission that seemed to have gone so terribly awry?
Well, I was the one who delivered the thing because I was in possession of it, of course. My assistant, I guess, familiar, did the deed. Other than that, I just did, you know, magic caster things. We tried to keep it non-lethal. The first guard that I encountered, I sent home. And
So is the
beyond that,
nature of your magic enchantment, or
a little bit of everything. Here and there. What do you mean by that?
is your focus in enchantment?
No,
in
no.
Studies?
I happen to use invisibility as enchantment, right? No, it's an illusion. Yep, fuck, no. I guess enchantment, illusion are my most common things, but I've practiced in a lot of schools, I guess you could say.
And so, once again, what would have then been your role within this ruse? Were you a practicing illusionist in this instance, or were there...
Oh, no. I used that as a non-lethal option, but when things started becoming hairy, I actually embarrassingly fell before I could do any sort of real damage to anyone.
You fell
Yes, died.
and were resurrected, it would appear?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you are dismissed. And next we have Faye.
All right.
All right, you're brought into the chamber. You're instructed to sit. Do you resist the zone of truth?
I do not.
All right. Phala, Garrick. You have a third name. I don't have it. That's
My legal name is Phala Greyfeather Garrick.
Greyfeather. That's what it is.
She cringes at Greyfeather.
I apologize, Lady Phala Greyfeather Garrick. This is very interesting because we have so recently offered you a position within the upper class of the city, and though we would not particularly assume that what has happened would be considered an abuse of your power, this is still something to... Your title makes you somewhat of an interesting case.
Explain.
By the actions you have taken, there is serious consideration that your title ought to be stripped because of the damages that have been done. This is probably not going to be what is ultimately executed, but it is something that you should be aware of.
Noted.
Can you, in your own words, recount the events of the evening and anything significant that you think should be included in what has led to the incident?
All right. So the hard facts are we're not here because of what we were intending to do there or what we did do there in regards to our mission towards Lord Decanter. We are having this meeting because of the use of the device, correct?
Partially. The truth of the matter is
There
people
is-
still were killed.
There was an exceptional amount of collateral damage, I agree. It is a right shame and a terrible failure as far as I'm concerned. Well, we began planning for our, I guess you could call it an assault, although that was not what it was originally intended to be. Early in the day, did some preparation, and then showed up at the house in the evening hours, expecting it to be less heavily populated or guarded. This was not the case. Of course, an ally of Decanter is, especially an Illithid, just terribly paranoid. Guards around the clock, essentially bodies between us and him that were perhaps put there to deter us, perhaps put there to deter other people. It's not worth thinking about, I suppose. We made use of an explosive device, a black powder device, in order to draw guards away from their posts to go investigate a blast. It was intended to be small, but intentionally not very damaging, just loud. This was not the case. We had been misled towards the power of the device, and well, you've seen the result. So, deciding that we had already committed too hard, and that if we left and came back, we would not have a chance to deal with the Decanter ally, we decided to double down and move into the fort, attempting to preserve as much life as possible while infiltrating and handling the Illithid problem. And so we did. We moved inside, we misled the Illithid into thinking we were buyers, and then we destroyed him. I have preserved his corpse for questioning, if that is something you're interested in.
Yes.
I have it in my bag. It's not in a pretty state, but it is intact enough to be revived.
Do you pull out the jar?
I do not,
Okay.
unless they ask me to.
Yes, they ask you to present it if you can.
All right, yeah, I produce the Illithid.
A guard retrieves the jar.
I would be careful. I mean, I probably don't need to tell you that. He's smart. He's incredibly intelligent and very tricky, and I think was only blindsided by us once. And when he's ready for you, he will not be willing. He is. He was arrogant, and I don't think he will respond well to being in captivity.
So your handling of the situation, simply put, was to kill the Illithid that you saw as the root of the problem.
It was, although, in my defense, I did ask that he be kept alive so that we could take him in for questioning. That Valor gets a little trigger happy.
Very well. And we are genuinely, as you assumed correctly, interested in the source that this mysterious explosive device might be from. Where do you know where it came from?
I do.
Where?
I would like to respectfully refuse to answer that question.
That is not an option that is available to you at this time.
All right. Well, fuck me, I guess. Yes, I know exactly where it was sourced, and I can give you an address. I would then like to ask that you do not disproportionately. Sorry. I am worried that because of the nature of this supplier, there will be problems. Be they just social or I don't know. These are people I care about and who are a support network for me, and I don't want something bad to happen to them because of a faulty device.
Lady Dalmer mentioned something about Drow.
Drow, yes. This is my concern.
Is this something that you feel is a direct threat to you more significantly than a threat to the community?
This? What does this refer to in that sentence?
This refers to what you have expressed, the concern that any action taken against them might result in some sort of conflict, you say social. Is this something you fear
yes.
to be more a threat to yourself than to the community?
I fear it on a social level, which is why I spoke of it socially. I think that these people have done an excellent job of coming from a disadvantaged place where everyone thinks they are out to kill them and made a very fine business, and I think they are upstanding people. I do not want to see them persecuted over a mistake.
And whose mistake do you assume this to have been made on part of?
I believe it to be a failure in communication. The store clerk is not particularly wordy, and my colleague did not ask very many questions during the sale of the device, and did not, I suppose, make very good use of her eyes and faculties in assessing its relative power before using it. This is also a failure on my part. I am sure I could have taken the initiative to realize that something was going on there, but respectfully, I don't really generally have the sort of social awareness to know when I need to step in and do that.
Understandable. The creature Bren. Do you understand the relationship that he had with this illithid?
It was coercion or ownership, as best as I could tell.
Very well. And given your own judgment, what do you believe to be fair punishment for yourself and perhaps your companions for what has transpired?
Monetary recompense and a public apology is probably as far as I would go for that. Paying off on loan the resurrection of those who were killed, unfortunately, in the accident, and the rebuilding of the house that we did not mean to destroy. I would offer up, as I suppose not technically the rightful owner of the very valuable things that were in the illithid's possession to the government as well. But we could have easily taken those for ourselves, and we opted to not, so that there would be more fuel on that particular fire of recompense.
Okay. Thank you, Lady Garrick.
Thank you.
And I forgot to ask this of Zira, but I would very much like to hear, like in, within your own hearing, what punishment do you think befits the crime?
Reparations, and maybe, I don't know if you're capable of doing it, but revival of those who have died and at our expense. She shrugs, not really knowing how to take that.
Thank you. And I forgot to mention it, but Decker went before Faye, and then who is next? Razik is next.
Ah, yes.
Hello.
Hello, can you state your full name?
Yeah, my name's Razik.
Do you feel comfortable speaking in common, or would you prefer to be speaking in another language?
Oh, yes, common's fine.
All right. And do you wish? This is, Adam. Do you wish to resist the zone of truth, Adam?
No.
No. Okay. I don't know that he would lie, even if.
Right, he don't care.
Have a seat, and can you tell us what happened in your own words?
Oh, yes. Well, you see, my friend and I, we discovered a very serious threat by this Lord Decanter fella, and we went to go speak to Decca's friends to tell them about it,
Decker?
and we told them that this Lord Decanter was a very serious threat, and perhaps even to Waterdeep itself, and they said that they would help us with some information, but that they weren't going to take any action about it. So then, while we were investigating a situation regarding cruelty to animals, which I take very seriously, by the way, we discovered that these people keeping these animals were in fact in league with Lord Decanter. So we immediately sent word to Decca to tell her friends, and then we ended the threat.
Who is this Decker you refer to?
Well, Decca is Decca. She's my friend. She has one arm that has been injured.
Oh, yes, Calrook. And
Who?
then they say, I believe her legal name is Ida Calrook. Calrook, yes?
I don't know. She likes to be called Decca.
This is, you say you handled this situation. How was it handled?
Oh, we went in and killed everything that was a threat. You're welcome.
How do you determine a threat?
Well, we knew that there was something there that had one of the circlets that allowed them to speak with Lord Decanter. And in all previous cases where we have found one of these circlets, these people have been very dangerous and out to kill many people. So we went in to kill that individual. And anyone that stood in our way was therefore in league with that individual and was also a threat.
I see. And what role did you play yourself within this elimination of threat?
Oh, well, I usually do several things. I help with reconnaissance, and I stand in the way of big things and let them hit me, and I try and generally help keep everyone alive. In fact, in this case, Oryx died again, and I was able to restore his spark of life.
Do you often find yourself in a position where you are defending the others, as you put it?
Oh no, they're quite powerful. I usually I do a lot of standing in the way of big things, um, sort of as a distraction. Uh, so they hit me, and it buys the powerful ones more time to do their powerful things.
Are you a shape changer by chance, then?
Oh yes.
I see. And how long have you known these individuals?
Hmm. Hmm. Well, must be several months now.
I assume you are not unfamiliar with the explosion that took place that night.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. It really didn't kill many of the things we needed it to kill.
You would have liked it to have killed more people.
I would have liked it to kill different people.
Different how?
Well, there were several of the Illithid allies that were left alive and came to attack us immediately, even before they were aware that we had anything to do with the explosion. I would much have preferred it to kill them, and had it, perhaps Sira would not have died.
Interesting. Thank you, Razak. You are dismissed.
You're welcome. Hey, one question.
Yes?
Are you all friends of Valor's?
No, we don't know what that is.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's just a resemblance in the facial area. Okay, goodbye.
And now we have Valor.
Yeah. I won't resist. I assume they tell me not to. Somebody out front, right?
Someone
As-
tells you that you are going to be put
Yeah.
on. You are, yeah.
Or it is mentioned it also.
That this is protocol. Otherwise, Valor will reflexively try to resist. Yeah. Yep. Let it settle in.
All right. And state your name.
Hello. I am Valor.
And right. Sorry, just making a note here. Can you, in your own words, describe what it is that happened last night?
Ah. What began as a quest of vengeful mischief became a quest to destroy an evil and vile villain.
For convenience sake, if it is possible, you should cut down on some of the flowery vocabulary.
Ah, you require succinct diction.
Yes.
Yeah, Valor's back completely straightens up and the eyes dim a little. Yes? We assaulted the compound. I believe the explosive device was supposed to be a distraction. Once we got inside, there was quite a number of foes in our path. Valor pauses to wait for further questions.
That's it is unnerving. Oh jeez, Cody. They say which actions took place and what things did you particularly do that involved the explosion, the killing of the hired assistants in the household, and the Illithid, and anything that may have any interaction that transpired between you and the creature Bren.
I personally had no responsibility for the explosive device. But when we had entered into the compound, several of the hired assistants began to get violent with some of my companions. It was at that point I was forced to use violence in kind. That is for what I was made.
You were made.
Indeed,
By what hands?
the master.
Who is this master?
Yeah, there's a moment where Valor, shoulders, fidget slightly. I cannot answer.
Why not?
I do not know.
Was this not information you were given?
It was information that was mine once. It is no longer.
Has it been taken from you?
I suspect it has.
Do you know by who?
I would presume it was taken by the master.
To what end?
I do not know.
Do you know how long ago that would have been?
I do not. I was asleep for quite some time. And then I became awake again.
Asleep.
Yes. I was not me. I was not Valor.
What then is valor?
I am Valor.
Do you know where you come from?
I come from a tower. I do not know where it is.
Do you know why you were made?
Yes. I think a little bit of the voice goes back into Valor's voice. Yes. I was made to protect the master and the son of the master. I was made to be a hero.
Protect the master and the son of the master. Do you know who the son of the master was?
Yes. The son of the master was the son of the master.
Not a
The most
name.
important. The priority.
No name or identity, just a role.
I think there's again that fidget all through Valor's being. I do not recall.
Valor, do you feel yourself to be a free-thinking creature?
That is hard for me to judge.
How so?
Subjectively, it appears to be so. I am imbued with sapience. I know this only by juxtaposition. I have seen another construct that does not have sapience. It was not told the stories. It did not come to be awake.
So you feel yourself to be free-thinking and sapient, and yet you were made to fulfill a specific role.
I believe so, yes.
Very well. I apologize for this interruption. Can you continue with your story of what happened last night?
Indeed. I think, the shoulders settle back down a little. When we'd entered the compound, it appears that the explosion was more violent than anticipated. Thus, the violence of the guards was compensatory. Thus was my violence compensatory. We had to fight our way through, and a great many of them fell to the evil spellcasters.
The evil spellcasters.
Yes. I saw them only briefly.
What deem you by calling them evil? What assessment is that made?
They used evil magics.
Such as?
Yeah, Valor pauses for a long moment. Magics which killed a large number of people all at once.
Hmm. Continue.
I was personally responsible for the dispatching of 3 individuals.
Thank you for your honesty.
Indeed. This is justice.
This is.
I was also then responsible for the dispatching of the vile one who hid below. The Beastmaster, they called him. An Illithid, I believe?
Correct.
Yes. I slayed him.
Did you interact at all with the creature Bren?
Yes, we spoke.
Did he appear in any way violent or volatile as the others had?
Initially, he appeared to be in league with the Illithid, but once the Illithid had died, a violent reaction occurred within him. I believe my companions cured him of the affliction.
Do you believe him to be a threat?
That is hard to say. He is powerful, I believe. If he is a dragon, then he is very powerful.
What believe you to be an appropriate response and punishment for what has transpired?
That I do not know.
If your master were to grant punishment to you for a similar incident, what would that have been?
The master did not punish for incidents such as these. I was made for compensatory violence.
As far as you understand it, you have done justly.
It is... I think there's like a pause in the middle of the sentence. I believe it to be just.
Thank you, Valor.
I think Valor's head like quirks and looks over to Silverhand. Hello. How is the boy prophet?
He's fine. He's recovering well.
Excellent. This heartens me to hear.
Perhaps you should come and visit him.
I would enjoy that. Will we be imprisoned for long?
That is yet to be determined. We have one more in your number that we must speak with. But the prospect is promising.
I would ask that you belay our imprisonment until our noble mission is fulfilled. There are more villains who must be vanquished.
We will consider this.
Is it customary to bow now as I leave?
Not usually.
Would you prefer it?
It truly is somewhat of an empty gesture in this particular instance.
Then I will not. Valor does a very robotic nod. Do you have any further questions?
I don't believe so, but your cooperation and your honesty to a a sullying degree is valuable.
That is well. Valor will like nod and start to turn to walk out.
Yeah,
Unless
you were
any
dismissed.
further questions. As Valor gets no, that went well. They were very receptive.
Next is Mr. Zinvin. Pete, do you resist the zone of truth?
Sure don't.
I thought you said sure do, and I was like, oh no. Yeah, all right. You're brought in, you are sat down, and you are asked to give your full name.
Patena Zinvin.
All right. And are you comfortable speaking in common, or do you need assistance?
I'm sorry, do you also require titles, or is just the name fine?
Do you have a title?
Dawnbringer.
Dawnbringer.
But if you feel more comfortable, you can just call me Pete. Everybody does.
Patanus, this title, where have you received it?
My home,
Where is that?
Brookvale. It's not far.
It is not. Patanus, this, you are quite young, it would appear, to be involved in the events of last night. What happened, in your own words?
Well, we had determined that there was a very bad person operating in the mansion that we attacked. And we decided to move rather quickly because we didn't think that we had much time, and had we given it more time, things would only get worse. So we showed up, and there was a detonation that we completely misjudged. But we had agreed beforehand to save as many lives as possible because we didn't believe many of the people there were very evil, and were possibly unaware of what was happening. So as we went through, we tried to save as many lives as we could. However, there were 2 spellcasters in there, and they killed a majority of the people. And then later, we found a portal and teleported to the underground, where we found Bren and a monster that was breeding more monsters. We then killed him, brought part of him back, and were subsequently arrested.
And the creature Bren, how did he handle the events as far as you are able to understand?
Well, it seems he was a bit of a prisoner himself, and he was attacked mentally somehow. But we were able to free him from that, and he's been rather nice since.
And what role did you play within this chaotic event?
Well, I tried to keep people alive as much as possible.
Exclusively your allies, or?
Exclusively my allies, yes, because there was a lot of fighting at the time. I would have helped more people if I could, but we were on a bit of a time crunch, and resources were limited to an extent.
What sort of resources do you have?
Well, I have gems to bring people back, as long as it's within a certain time frame, but I only have so many, and so there was more people that died than that I could have resurrected.
You're rather young for such advanced magics.
Oh, Mother says I have a natural gift. Well, I guess not natural, God-given.
What sort of god, then, do you ally yourself with?
Lathander, specifically, and he smiles really big at that.
I see. And any guidance or interpretation given to you by Lathander about what has happened?
Not yet. But I'm sure it'll come.
Pete, has anything like this ever happened to you before?
Like what?
Do you often find yourself in a situation where you need to be speaking to high orderlies with the intent to determine whether or not you are going to be going to prison?
I mean, not since I left Brookvale, but Mother had a room similar to this with similar spells, so I'm actually kind of at home here.
Who was your mother?
Lady Fillory Zinvin.
I assume an authority figure within Brookvale.
Oh yes, the authority figure.
The authority figure. What title did she have?
Matriarch? I just called her mother.
Naturally. Patanus, if something of this magnitude were to happen in Brookvale, how would you think your mother, or, for that matter, you yourself, how would you believe it should be handled?
Well, I don't think I'm the appropriate authority to determine it, seeing as how I was directly involved. I think the appropriate people would be the ones that were hurt. I think they should have a say in the punishment. But Mother specifically would exile us.
That is an exceptional response.
Thank you.
Do you happen to know anything about the artifact that was detonated?
Very little. I wasn't even aware we had it until they brought it up at the mansion. I was led to believe it'd be more of a distraction than destruction.
Very well. And were there any incidences outside of the events with these spellcasters that have been mentioned where there was threat or harm done to any of the members of the household?
I mean, the initial explosion, but no, we tried as many non-lethal tactics as possible. It was the spellcasters who went lethal. That is until the Illithid. We specifically meant to kill him.
I understand that both Lady Dalmer and Oryx were slain and brought back. I understand that one of them at least was raised by Razik, and the other, was that your job? Was that your duty?
He looks down. No. I seem to keep finding myself in the wrong place at the wrong time.
It almost seems as if you have done that yet again.
Only Lathander knows.
Well, thank you, Patanus. You are excused.
My pleasure.
All right. You guys, if you'd like, you can talk for a second before I tell you exactly what happens next. Okay. So, your judgment that is passed later that day, because they have the time, and they spend also time talking with those who have survived, and those who are then resurrected. This is what happens. You are told that you have two options. You can either comply with the deal that they are about to give you, or you can become an enemy of the state. The offering is that you pay 17,000 for the resurrections, and then 5,000 for the rebuilding of the estates that, particularly the one that, the bystanding estate, if you will. And you will, and Zira and Oryx will be, receiving 300 gold for their own lives lost, as it has been the case that you were theoretically acting in the best interest of Waterdeep. Additionally, you will be expected to prove that you do intend on protecting Waterdeep from here on out from incoming threats, by engaging in a further extension of trust. The promise that Lariel gave you guys earlier, being able to help you guys with magic stuff, teleportation, travel, scrying and other things. That will only be upheld if you remain in Waterdeep under surveillance for what would have been a 10-day, but as Oryx mentioned, you have a limited time, so they are asking that you only stay for 5 days, so that you can, again, it's like an extension of the trust box, prove that you are willing to comply. Each of you will be each of you, again, if this is the deal you take, will be receiving a stone bracer that will stay on you, and will allow them to be able to track and monitor where you are going. At sundown, you would be expected to report to either your home estate within Waterdeep or the appointed detention center, check in with guards, and then you would be allowed to leave at dawn. If you do not agree to the terms, you will be considered enemies of the state, not permitted to return. Any status or holdings that any of you hold within the city will be stripped and returned to Waterdeep. And returning to Waterdeep will be considered a criminal offense and taken into proper custody at Silverhold. And that is what is granted to you all as options.
But that sounds fine, but I've only got 1,000 gold.
The 7,000 and the 5,000 that are required do not have to come from any single one of you, as long as you can share and pool those resources. We will consider the debts repaid.
That is 10 to 1 on gold, right?
Yeah. I'll type those numbers in for you too.
I can cover the monetary costs.
You can have my 36 gold.
I can pay some of that. I've got 900 and some platinum.
Okay, well, do we just report back here then at night?
You can either return to your home estates if you have one within Waterdeep, which will be monitored by guards, or you can return to the facility that you were in the night before.
Can I stay with the other kobolds in the field ward?
Do you have property out there?
Um,
Decker nudges you and says, "You can stay at my house if you need."
I mean, technically I do because it's communal kobold space, and as a kobold, I share in it. We don't own things the way... I'll stay with Decker.
One of the council members says, "If you need to, you can go to the community tunnels. However, it might be in the community's best interest if you do not, simply because your required report to any guards might put some of them at ill ease."
I'm sorry, might put the guards at ill ease?
No, the kobolds.
Oh. Then I'll just... I guess I'll just stay with Decker, if that works, so I can be close.
Decker whispers to everybody, just a little bit louder. If you guys don't have property, stay at my house.
I will stay with you.
Oh, I can stay with Deca? Oh, okay. No, this is good.
I technically have a dedicated room, but I don't own the property. Does it count if I'm renting it?
If it is a rented room and counts as a living quarters, then it is acceptable.
All right. Well, I guess I can stay with the guild then.
Yeah. I might have to stay with Deckard. I think my family might have something around, but it's better if I don't.
You say that out loud.
Yeah, looking at Deckard to see if she's gonna be like, yeah, okay, whatever.
I mean, she doesn't say anything, but she had an open
Okay.
invitation.
Wonderful.
I am also allowed to have guests in my room at the guild hall, but I do need you to know that you will be allotted approximately 5 square feet of space. The rest of it will be my bed and my workspace.
Oh, don't worry, I don't take up a lot of space if I don't need to. I will stay with Faye then.
Okay.
Pete, where you staying?
Oh, I can go with you guys to Deckers.
Yeah, sleepover.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the building we blew up. There's a lot of cleaning up to do.
Before you leave, your hand is taken and a stone cuff is put around your wrist, and it just closes around without a seam.
This will change size with us if we grow or shrink, yes.
You are told, yes, it is taken into account as one of you specifically mentioned that you were a shape changer.
I didn't mention that, so
No, you didn't, but
Yeah.
Razik did.
that's why Arx was asking.
Mhm.
Giant might, and there goes my hand. Cool.
2-weapon fighting suddenly not an option anymore.
Well, then we could put like a hook hand type thing on the end
Uh,
of.
Funnily
that'd be
enough,
kick-ass.
Armor Artificer, if I put on the armor, creates prosthetic limbs.
Fuck yeah, dog.
Dope.
Just, robot hand punches.
Nice.
All right. Once you've all been cuffed, and again, this is something that, like, in any form you guys take, it will, one, not merge with your appearance, but will accommodate your size. Where do you guys want to go next?
What time of day is it?
By now, it is evening.
Well, then I'll probably just head back to Deckard's place.
Okay.
Hey Zira,
Mm.
you want to go on a day trip?
Yeah, sure. Where to?
Fortress of Misery. I feel like I'm at an all-time low, and I couldn't get much lower. So let's just scrape the bottom of the barrel real quick. Then I'll be all the way up from there.
Your logic is impenetrable. Let's go.
As per usual.
Before we separate, Faye, can you take this? And I will hand over one of my brand new Artificer Infusion Sending Stones.
Thank you.
It only will work once a day, but we can keep in touch.
I mean, it'll also only work if we're on the same plane of existence, which is about to not be the case. But I appreciate the gesture.
Then would not violate the terms we just agreed on? I guess not.
No, as long as we're within the bounds of our house by the time it's evening.
Oh, I thought we had to stay in town for 5 days.
Yeah. Eh, Yeah, fair enough, I guess. All right, day trip in 5 days, Zira. Mark your calendar.
Don't we have a full moon to wait for?
I don't know. It just felt like if we were going to dip out of the plane and then, it would be kind of like we were holding space in the place we left from. Is that weird? Is it weird for me to think about our bodies like a liquid that kind of fills the space of its container?
Is that not what your bodies are?
Yeah, no, right,
What?
exactly. We're
It is mostly
primarily like
liquid.
we're primarily like blood, right? And then we leave the space of the fluid from wherever we left, and then the Earth gets a little bit more
I
dense.
think
but,
Razik would argue we're mostly meat.
meat is like 60% blood before you clean it off. So
Sorry, and about the what's his name? Bren? Brom?
Bren.
Bren.
He's actually still
Wh-
hanging around with you guys.
Where are you headed?
He looks at Decker and she nods. He says, wherever she's going, I suppose.
Do you two know each other?
No, I just have an open door policy. I don't have anywhere to go yet, as it would appear that I am not in the exact same situation that you all find yourselves in, but if I wish to be able to return to Waterdeep ever, I am expected to follow through on that trust exercise as well. And what is one more week compared to years and years and years in that demi-plane? And he smiles.
How
you want
many
to come on a
years
road
were
trip
you
with us
down
in like
there?
5 days?
One, time is a little difficult to track when you're in a place with no sun, and two, I don't know. What sort of trip are you talking about?
Oh, we're gonna go to a place called the Fortress of Misery, where you face your deepest, darkest fears, and then just kind of hope
that
that puts us
sounds-
at such a low point that kind of everything's up from there.
Well, that sounds terrible. I would much rather prefer to go and see if anything that I have ever owned still exists.
Can I come? That sounds like something to do. I'm about to be extremely bored.
Well, I can't even go until this exercise is finished anyway, so...
Oh, I assumed it was in town.
No, that would be tremendously convenient, wouldn't it?
It really would. It would give me
Yes.
something to do for an afternoon, which is, invaluable at this point.
Also super illegal if I'm not mistaken.
What?
Sorry, what?
Wasn't the whole thing as in you just can't cross the threshold of I'm not really
He
familiar with
was
how the
blessed to
wards
get in here.
Yes.
Oh, okay. See, I missed that.
Yeah, some time ago, before that woman was the open lord, I was allowed passage, and I
Sorry, wait.
truthfully had the ability to move past at any point because that is how the blessing operates, but they did not know I have been here for so long. It is only fair that I am honest that I am still here.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
You came in
How
before
long?
Leyral was that open lord?
Yes.
How long ago was that?
Long before I was born. My mother used to talk about Leyral like she was older than her, and my mother's like 180? 190?
Oh. Suppose it's been some time then.
Well, I'm tired. I'm just gonna hop on your shoulder and take a nap. Yep. Or on Ava. Actually, Ava's probably more comfy.
Ava can't carry you. She's not actually very strong.
Bird.
Bird. a puff of black mist, and Zero just
And
flaps
Bird.
down onto Ava and just kind of dozes off.
Oh, I forget that's a thing.
It's an easy thing to forget, yeah.
There's a little stone cuff around your little bird leg.
I know. I was gonna say it's like those little tags.
Little tag. All right, folks. I'm going home. And you're welcome to follow.
What time? What time is it again? We're like afternoon, right?
No, evening.
Evening. Fuck. All right.
Yeah, I guess we go back for our respective slumber parties. Ours is cooler. We have Dragon Zaddy.
Zaddy.
Yeah, you know why Decker's got an open door policy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
It does feel kind of like Zira and Faye are entering into some sort of like civil partnership
There's
away from everyone else for like
there's
no
layers.
reason.
There is a lot of like what you guys have done that is like in a lot of ways so approximately close to getting married. And I will bring up again, because I think it got mentioned a couple of weeks ago, that the marriage ceremony is a very useful skill.
Well, here's her pitch again. Hold on, hear out. One of you dies often now.
Yeah, and I can resurrect one of us every
Yeah,
day
so guess
if
what?
I want to.
Yeah, you could have just had it, and then you could have it again right now, because one of you died.
Ah, there
Think
we
about it.
go. There we go. Once a
Well,
week.
I'm about to forfeit my fucking magic armor next invocation swap. So you want to get?
You want to get hitched and stay within 30 feet of each other forever now?
Forever.
Be
Only in
joined at the
combat. Well,
hip.
no, never mind. I'd like to not be anywhere near anybody ever.
Yeah, I'm what you might call like an off tank of sorts, and you're what you might call you accidentally walked too close to the fight last fight and literally died.
Yeah, I forget with such success of just being far away and shooting into a fight. Like, it's hard to not be confident and just be like, yeah, fights are easy, and then walk into a fight and just get mulched
You got
immediately.
trapped behind a tree, and then they beat the shit out of you.
Yeah, the Iron Defender spawned, and I was like, oh, this is really bad. I'm gonna leave, and then two more people came out of the corner, and I was like, oh, yeah, no, this is the wrong direction. That was bad.
That was a rough fucking shake, dog. Anyway, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I guess we're just gonna go share our one bedroom apartment together
Yeah.
while I make things and then neglect Zira's emotional status. That's what happens. That's what happens.
We're gonna take our 15 and
Oh, fuck
be
yeah.
back at 10 after. And from there we can do scenes if we want to, in respective spaces. And otherwise, you guys can more or less summarize. Like, we can do a little bit of table talk if we need to summarize how you spend your 5 days, and theoretically get you guys a move on. How's that sound?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, back in. Zira and Faye, anything special happening to you guys, or anything you're doing that evening? As you essentially lead a guard to where you will be staying so that someone knows where you are and you can check in with them and all.
I don't think either of us are paying attention to the question you just asked.
Well, or is anything happening this evening that you would like to establish?
No, I think Faye's going to cook because we are like finally in a town. So she's gonna like go buy food and cook.
Okay.
I'm going to observe and muse. Oh, so you've become a chef now.
No, I've always been a chef. Cooking is basically alchemy, but you can eat the results almost all of the time.
Right. Ugh. That makes me disappointed I've been eating trail rations for this long.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to keep fresh ingredients on the road. I tried to make a pocket dimension that did it, but it didn't work. And the most refined solution I can come up with is ice in a bag of holding, which does melt eventually. So
I almost took the preservation chest as an infusion. I just want you to know that. I'm sad now.
Great, cool.
I'm not there for this conversation. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I'm good. Yeah, I've learned all that I need to, apparently. That alchemy is cooking and you can eat alchemy.
I think you might have had a very different takeaway from that conversation.
No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I will also be just in bird form around, probably. I don't feel like walking.
That's fine. There's weirder things in Waterdeep than somebody carrying a bird.
Yeah, it's the person carrying the bird would be just me.
Yeah.
Now I've waylaid that onto somebody else. now you get to be the bird mom.
Oh heavens no. I wouldn't want to draw attention to myself in my 6-foot robot. And my fucking creepy Twilight armor and my revolvers. No, I'm so averse to being physically different from other people.
Yeah, I don't have anything to do at night, so I'm just gonna fucking hang out.
Point of order, we're not allowed to do anything at night. We have to stay inside.
Oh right, no, I mean during the day. I don't really have any places that are not illegal to go to.
Are we talking about all 5 days?
You can be establishing what you want to do right now, yeah.
Okay, dope. I think Faye's gonna go start socializing in the evenings at like bars or something, just wherever people gather. Nowhere in particular. They're just trying to go and like have conversations and probably doing a bad job.
I will be your wingwoman, literally.
Oh, talking bird.
Oh, I won't talk during. I'll watch the failure unravel, and then afterwards I'll coach.
Hey baby, you ever met a talking bird before?
I will, if that comes up, I will just look at you deadpan and not say goddamn thing.
I was trying to formulate a joke about peacocking, but I couldn't quite get there.
Oh, I've got one, but I don't want to say it.
Oh,
come on, now
share,
put it into the universe!
share with the
No.
class.
No, I won't. Maybe I'll type it later, but I don't want to say it out loud. I had an actual thing for you to do.
Oh, I actually do
Oh,
need to
yeah.
be doing work on those items, but I assumed that was implied.
Yes. And do you want to... Sorry, I just had it again and it got away from me. Oh, what ward of the city would you like to be interacting in?
So, I think I walk to like somewhere that's like fairly upscale, like where rich people go when they're slumming it, like
Okay.
you know, like a high middle class type establishment, where
Mhm.
it's like it's not expected for you to be fancy, but just people are generally kind of gentrified and rich.
Yeah, it's not the docks or the South Ward. So like trades / North Ward, yeah.
Yeah, like in that general area, where the trade in the North Ward like rub up against the Castle Ward, where people go when they don't want to like dress up nice,
Sure.
but it's still like a generally pretty good establishment.
Okay. Would you roll me a persuasion check? Hey, that's a really good roll.
Yeah.
Okay. What you can kind of learn is that there is not. First of all, pretty much a good chunk of the people that you are interacting with recognize the band that is on your arm. Some of them even say that they have themselves been subjected to a similar punishment.
I use that as a conversation opener then, and talk about the building I blew up and like the illithid that we killed.
Oh, so okay. Well, that takes things in a different direction.
Oh yeah, yeah. If people respond positively to that, they start saying it like prouder and prouder. Whereas before it was just kind of like a completely neutral, like facts only type of deal, and now it's just kind of like a point of pride.
This
feel
has
like-
mixed reviews.
Oh, of course it does. No, of course.
Yeah, so you learn, that there's obviously people friendly to the Fyland household who are totally not chill with the fact that you blew up their house.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry about that. I apologize about that. That was I make that very clear that was not intentional, and it was actually sort of a fluke of a mechanism, and I'm paying reparations, and I hope that they're all right after this whole thing, and I didn't mean to hurt them in any way.
Okay, that goes over well because you rolled a 26. But then there's also a handful of gentry that seem very positive, that like kind of do. Oh, is it me? Am I in and out?
No, I'm sorry. I was saying journalism. But
Oh, okay.
you're good.
Some people who fancy themselves as possible adventurers, who probably don't actually have the chops for it, but like the idea of it, the romanticism of it.
Yeah. Like thrill seekers, like real life
Yeah.
people who go climb mountains that they are not ready to, and shit like that.
Exactly. One dude even says like specifically that he's always wanted to he's even been around Skullport, that kind of thing, but he's never been able to get far out of the city because he's been social things that he needs to do around town. He's got obligations, but it's in general. People have a very positive reaction to you.
I'm gonna invite that guy to come hang out and just come see the kind of slummy places that are secret and he won't get in trouble for. And I'm yeah, I kind of know where to go, where I can interact with the underworld but not be publicized about it.
Okay. Hold on, I've got to find his name again.
Hey, Faye, you think this is a good idea?
Sorry, what?
Do you think this is a good idea, showing some random around?
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's like a date. I haven't been on a date in 2 years, so I'm trying to get mine is one thing. So if you could just kind of maybe not question that. I'm already pretty insecure about it.
He seems kind of scrappy, and very interested in what you are doing. He's a bard, actually. Not that super matters, but he's a bard.
Want to see it?
Well,
Wait.
it's what?
No, nothing.
I think Faye is probably instantly fascinated by that, and will probably probe him for questions about how magic works when it's not rigid and set into something, which is the way she understands things to work.
Mm-hmm. And what he ends up as you wander the city and talk with each other and get to know each other in a couple of days, he explains that he's not necessarily musically inclined or artistically inclined, but he sees a capability of manipulating the weave with weaponry, not terribly unlike what you do. However, what you do is specifically capture magic and put it into things to channel it.
I tame it like science. He's
Yes.
doing something of an art.
Yes. Uh, yeah. Uh, this goes well. You actually can recognize his last name as being related to one of the art colleges within Waterdeep. Um, I always struggle with this. El Torchel is one of the academies that is specifically inclined towards the arts. But I mean, if you have the money, anyone can study there.
Yeah, I'll ask him questions about that, like if he attended or like if he's currently attending.
No, he's graduated some time ago. He's a half elf. No, he's actually a human. And he looks like he's approaching his 30s. He's graduated and has, like you said, been minutely exploring the city in a more dangerous way
Yeah,
recently.
in a more broad sense than just the nice parts of town, period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he very much enjoys company. And so he's happy to have you. And happy that you are accommodating to him as well in his curiosity.
Great. I definitely feed into that. I am way curious about his world, which is very different from mine, both in terms of like privilege and in just kind of the way that he lives his life.
He also says, he also expresses that he was born into higher society as well, and if you present yourself as Lady Garrick, then he expects something of that, but it's very clear very soon that that's not really a presentation you're accustomed to,
Oh yeah. I do not put on airs when I am not expecting to.
Yeah, and the thing is that he has, like, in the same way that most, in, like, a shitty roguish type would have the, like, effortless air of being noble, like, this guy's very much like, I don't want to appear noble, but it's so thoroughly ingrained in, like, in his upbringing that you can't help but ignore it, and neither can he. Yeah. Anything special, specific, interesting you want to do with your new friend?
I think I want to like try to get him to go on like a proper date of some kind with me, and like probably not say it in that many words, but make it very clear that that's what I want to do.
Okay. Can you make me a persuasion check?
This is the one I bomb. Yeah. That's what I like to see.
What he ends up saying is, I am truly flattered. I am in a technically legal marriage, but I think that we could accommodate a friendly evening anyway.
That works for me. I don't know if I want this to be more serious than it is. Mostly for your benefit. You seem very nice, and there's a non-zero likelihood that I will die sometime in the coming months, and not in the way that you come back from. So, I think a couple dinners might be nice. I am on house arrest, obviously, for a couple more days. So, some nice evenings.
He takes this with shocking amusement and then asks, why is it that you would anticipate your own death, and so shortly?
Well, so I haven't told you very much about sort of the way that I've been operating in the last couple of months, but it's been a wild swing between extreme caution and the most danger I've ever been in my entire life. And don't get me wrong, it's extremely exciting, but on the other hand, it is also quite dangerous, and I have seen it kill multiple people near me that are very important to me, and they did come back from it. No one's ever not come back from it yet, but you know, you can't exactly keep up that kind of life forever. And it's going to get worse before it gets better.
Very, very, very intriguing. You should absolutely spend time over dinner talking about this very dangerous life you seem to lead.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it is like pleasant and sociable, and like it's very clear by his demeanor and his cadence that like whatever arrangement he's in, it like doesn't have really any bearing on his actual relationships, you know. But also, like you said, like I'm under house arrest. I'm probably only gonna be here for 5 more days. Like let's keep it chill, and that's like, and he's totally cool with that because that is also in his best interest. As
Kind
you
of the
said.
situation he's in as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Could you make me an insight check?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Beautiful. All right.
That's Faye for you.
Just like the simulations.
I'm trained in insight, and I have a +6, and I've never rolled like more than a 3. I feel like on an insight roll.
Yeah, you have a hard time with it.
It fits her character super well. I'm just mad that the RNG has fucking branded me as bad at something I'm supposed to be good at.
Okay, anything else for Faye?
No, that's it for me.
Okay. And Zira.
I think after the first night of like her meeting him at the bar, I'm probably just gonna buzz off somewhere else for the remaining days. I think what I'm gonna do is maybe go around to, you know, some quote unquote dens of scum and villainy, like the Grinning Lion and places like that, I guess. And kind of ask around about my name or like the family, anything about that sort of thing. See if there are people after me. Because recently, like only a few days ago in the game, it was brought to my attention that, hey, you might have some enemies. So I will go and try and seek them out discreetly, considering I've like changed my appearance. I'll probably be dressing down for this occasion in like my
Sure.
street clothes.
Sure.
And-
Go ahead and roll a. This could be a couple of different rolls. Do you have a role that you think this is best attributed to?
It sounds almost. I don't know whether it's better for it to be like persuasion to get somebody to like tell me about these sorts of things, or like investigation to just like do the digging and find the ties. In between those two, I don't know how shut-lipped or important this sort of news would be, if at all. So depending on, you know, how tight-lipped people are, persuasion or investigation, I don't mind either or.
Okay. I will let you roll either one. You can choose which one you want. I don't know which one is better for you, but
Definitely persuasion.
sure.
Granted, like Faye and perception, or sorry, insight, it's the one roll that I can't get right. Oh shit! Hell yeah! Woo!
Couple of 19s from the both of you. That's awesome. Okay. So you very quickly become grateful that you have put an effort to change your appearance. And granted, like, I wouldn't say that, like, except for like ostentatious presentation and clothing, Zira may not be considered a distinct looking individual, period. But like that means cutting off your hair and tattoos and like and changing like your posture and your clothing, that changes everything. And you're soon very grateful for it, because if you are poking around, you know, like maybe the Grinning Lion or a couple of other locations you're aware of, you find out that you are being sought after.
Is there like anybody specific?
As far as you can tell, like, not any one person, just the organization is looking to find you
Oh.
again.
So it's the Zents. Great, that's fucking awesome. Oh man.
You also learn that this is a more recent thing.
Like, it was because of me coming back with, like, in the Coliseum and doing this big old crime thing right now, rather than, like,
Right.
defecting the first time.
Yeah.
And it is the Zents and not, what's his name's men?
Xanathar?
No. Sexy McBald's Explodey Boy. Jarlaxle.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Correct. It is the Zentarum.
Yeah. Phew.
Sexy McBald exploding.
I sometimes have thoughts that I
Outstanding.
accidentally formulate out loud. I was gonna say Bald McBig Hat, but that one didn't. That one.
Big Cat is very powerful.
That one came a little bit later.
Both of those descriptors of Jarlaxle are incredible and fair, and I don't know what to do with either of them.
Anyways, well, that's. So. I think my next question would be, or rather, my next sort of prod into any of these would be like, hey, wait, I mean, I haven't seen her around these sorts of people in, like, forever. Like, what the fuck's the deal? If she'd been hunted, like, forever ago. Why? Why now? Or is there just, like, a bounty on her?
With the
internally?
28 there, like, I mean, you learn that there is the bounty that is to bring her in. It is not specified whether or not you're preferred dead or alive. And it has to, like, it from what you can gather, it sounds like it is just because you have made your presence known and you are recognizable. You can't really get much beyond that.
Yeah, I figured. Well, that's great. Cool. I will probably spend the remaining days inside mostly, and maybe begrudgingly lose the. No, the hat keeps my face hidden sometimes if I point it down far enough. I guess I'll just try different voices. Do some voice acting when face out on dates.
That is a
Yeah.
very good concept. Either in bird form or not, just like you sitting alone and talking to yourself, trying to get yourself to sound different. Very good.
It's definitely in bird form in, like, Faye's workshop when she's not there, in, like, a rafter or something. So if anyone, like, comes in and checks on her, there will be nothing that they see immediately, and I will just shut up until they leave.
Right.
Oh gosh, that's a terrible time. Anyways, yeah. That's
Love
me,
that.
and I pass to the next.
Okay. Sleepover party. So that night, Decker takes your guys' assigned guard, who will at least indicate where you guys will be staying, but also it becomes apparent that this guard probably knows exactly where they're going. And as you're walking, Decker just packs her pipe and lights it and just says, "So what do you guys have planned for the next couple of days? Do you think?"
Well, I don't know about the rest of the crew here, but it seems to me that the tribe of Waterdeep has invited us to form some sort of alliance. And seeing as how they are a very big and very powerful tribe, I am going to do what I can to prove to them that it is an alliance that is worthy.
Smart. She looks at Pete and Valor and Oryx.
I don't really have any plans. I'll probably just head to the church and do what I can.
Hey, you alright, kid, by the way?
I'm okay.
You sure? You seem like, I mean, you've always been, like, nervous, but you seem, like, down.
No, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm sure I'll feel better after I go to the church.
Okay. She looks at Oryx.
I was going to see what I could do around the Warrens, but I mean, if anybody needs help doing something. I don't have solid plans, but if I can help them. If I can help the others who stayed here instead of leaving, then that's what I was
And are you feeling okay? After dying again?
It wasn't pleasant, but it was also very brief, so I think I'm okay.
Okay. And, Valor?
I was invited to perhaps visit the boy prophet.
Ah, shit. Cool.
Yes. So I will do that. If I have extra time, I may offer my services in clearing the rubble at the explosion site.
You guys get to her house. She opens the door, starts kicking trash around, and just says, if someone wants the cot, they're good to take it. I'm fine on the floor. And she goes to sit under the window and smoke. Bren looks around, clearly not disgusted but perplexed, and then sits against a wall as well.
Ah, Bren.
Hmm?
When we were in the meeting, they questioned how dangerous you were.
You answered honestly.
Indeed.
And how did that go?
Not clear. It appears to have turned out well, though, as you are not imprisoned.
They know they couldn't imprison me. It was a matter of allowing me to be here at all. Either I would be permitted to stay or removed forcibly.
I am glad everything worked out.
I, again, should thank you all for putting in good words for me and getting me out of that place again in the first place.
Say, do you know why these were on your desk? And I will hand him the 2 wanted posters.
Oh, those were upstairs. Those were in the other place. But he'll pick them up and yeah, and say, no, I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, though those were in the house.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We rescued you because that is what heroes do.
You fancy yourself heroes?
Yes.
You have any tales of heroism?
We liberated a town from an evil tyrant and slayed an evil dragon lord.
and freed the rightful leader of Daggerford.
Yes, a damsel in distress, much like yourself.
He sits forward and puts a hand in his chin, cross-legged, and he just says, "Tell me more."
Valor will turn to Oryx.
I was scratching my eyes. I'm not much of a storyteller. Razik, you're probably more perform. You're a better storyteller. You
Orator is
I
what
will-
you're searching for.
I will tell the story through interpretive dance. Yeah, he won't. He'll
Aw.
yeah, he will tell the tale. No reason to spend 20 minutes reliving it, but yeah,
course
he'll,
not.
he'll go through it.
uh,
And that with that,
Bren is like sitting forward, rapt attention, very, very invested in your story. And he says, "That's astounding and very puzzling, but altogether I would deem heroic."
it posed a threat, and we eliminated it, and Oryx got wings.
Real story. Is there anything else that you guys want to do this evening or in the coming days?
Oryx, I'm sorry, Valor. Let's try this again. Razik is going to. Razik is just going to spend his days at the site of the explosion, helping to clean up, summoning, I imagine, lots of draft horses to drag things around, occasionally wild shaping if things need to be lifted particularly high into the sky, and that's pretty much how he spends his days.
Okay. Easily done. Oryx, what about you? Anyone you want to talk to or anything else you're doing?
I mean, originally her plan was to go see the Warrens here, see if she can help them with anything. But when she realizes people are going to the ruins of the castle we blew up, she will agree to go along with those because I can lift heavy stuff. I'm good at that.
Okay. Bren kind of goes to Pete, who's still like not doing so hot, and just checks in on him. He says, "Is everything all right with you?"
Mostly. What are you gonna do?
I will wait until I can leave, and then I'm going to go see if I still have a home. It's
Where's your home?
A little ways up north, in a cliffside over the water.
Oh, that's very vague.
Well, if I told you exactly where it was, then more people would know about it. If more people know about it, the chances that my belongings still exist, it's a long shot anyway.
I guess that's true.
Where are you from?
A little town called Brookvale. I'm sure you don't know it. Many people don't.
Don't think we do.
Yeah, it's just a little commune of a bunch of friendly people. And we just grow food and take care of each other.
It's nice.
I think so. Faye thinks it's a cult.
His eyebrows raise.
I mean, it's not a cult. Cults do bad things.
And there's no things in Brookville?
Sorry, say that one more time.
There's no bad things in Brookville?
No. Nothing bad happened until I left.
Did something bad happen after you left?
Many things.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, there was a battle. Oh shoot, I forgot the name. There was a battle and many people got hurt and many people died. Oryx died twice. Zero died once. There's corrupt officials in Daggerford and some not so nice people here as well. Things were just simpler, you know?
His head rocks from side to side and he says, simple for you, maybe. Maybe not for everyone.
I mean, I guess bad things were still happening before I left.
You're quite young, yes. I don't really know.
Everyone keeps saying that.
You seem young, but I can't really tell.
I like to think I'm very mature for my age.
Then you'd know that most people experience that the world is not as kind as they thought it was as they age, yes?
So I'm learning.
You disappointed?
A little. Aren't you?
That's one way of thinking about it. I choose to collect pleasantry. I like knowing that there is good things that exist. Beauty and joy and pleasure, and I devote my life to that. It definitely makes witnessing some of the terrible things that can happen to you, such as being enslaved for potentially years and years and years, seem not so bad.
I don't think nice trinkets would make me feel better about that.
It's not trinkets.
Then what do you collect?
Music, sound, stories.
That's nice.
It is. On good mornings, the ocean comes through the cavern and fills walls with sound of the world. It is stunning.
I like that. I think I'll keep an eye out for that next time.
Well, if you happen to find it, then you do then, by default, merit at least a tour.
Tour of?
My house?
Oh. Oh yeah, I think I'd like that a lot. And you're very nice.
Oh,
Much nicer than someone who's enslaved for many years should be.
would you prefer that I weren't?
No, I think I'm just surprised.
I very easily could be not so nice.
Oh, no thank you.
It is a choice to be nice in a place like this.
I like that too. And he takes out his book and he writes that down.
You're quoting me.
If you want, I don't have to put your name down.
No, you should. What are you writing?
Mostly my thoughts, but this time I'm writing your thought.
Do you often only write your own thoughts?
I mean, technically they're prayers, but, yeah.
Prayers.
Yeah, prayers for the group and prayers for the general well-being of people in general, but specifically these guys.
Do
I
you
guess
mind
that's
if Do you mind if I... And he puts a hand out for your book.
Oh, yeah, just, don't read them out loud, or tell anybody. It's kind of personal.
His eyes glint as he takes it from you and begins reading very quickly. Like starting at the front page and just sits and reads silently to himself and becomes very hard to get his attention for a while. And then he hands it back after he's finished. All right, Valor. Oh, Doug, were you gonna say something?
No.
Okay. Valor, what you doing?
I suppose I will go the next day and go visit Sprite Pepsi if that's possible. And then I suppose it depends on the subsequent days. Either I'll go and help with the cleanup efforts, or I'll continue visiting Sprite Pepsi until we leave.
Okay.
Valor would probably offer if anybody else wants to see Sprite Pepsi to like come along with
Yeah, Pete would go.
it. It's like, as far as Valor knows, everybody else should be invested in, in SP's happiness.
All right, opportunity to go see Sprite Pepsi?
Sure.
The sounding reluctance. Okay. You guys can head towards the castle ward, and, you know, you can ask, and then you're directed towards Blackstaff Tower, which is a very large and warded complex. That is painted dark and has very few armored guards anywhere, but there are many folks here still. Several are very evidently sorcerers, wizards, mages, who are conversing with one another, you know, theoretically, philosophically, or academically, and some who are just like yelling at each other and fighting. Once, you know, you make your presence known and your intentions, because so few people know Sprite Pepsi, you are instantly indicated where he's being kept, which is within the tower, in a very small dormitory, Spartan accommodation, and you are kept with a guard nearby, a wizard close by, so they can keep an eye on you. Sprite Pepsi is sitting at a table and writing something. He's kind of got like his head in his hands and seems a little tired. And when the door opens, after, you know, beckons that you can enter, you see that he's tired looking, and a little thin, not terribly, but maybe looking like a little sick, but not agitated, not upset. He still has a very distinct light in his eyes and looks good despite his physical condition maybe being a little stressed. He said, "Oh, hey Valor," and he hops down from his desk to come and give you a hug.
Yeah, I think, like, as he gets near, Valor, like, picks him all the way up. Like, cradles him for a second. Hello!
Hi, I'm glad you guys came back. It's been a little bit. How are y'all doing?
We were arrested.
Oh, good. And he waves to Pete and Oryx. Oh, you came to see me?
Yes, I missed you.
Oh, I missed you too.
How are you faring here? Are you being treated well?
Of course, yeah. They're really nice. It's just hard. They told me that I should be all good to go in a few days, but the first day was really, really hard and tiring. So they said I have to stay here until I am feeling all better.
What are they doing for you?
They had me in a circle. Detect magic. This whole building almost blinds you with how bright it is illuminated.
Nice.
Yeah. But Sprite Pepsi, actually is a, like, vacuum in comparison.
Oh, it's like an absence of magic completely, or
On him, yes.
okay.
And he says, they have me sit in this circle, and we went somewhere in a not real place, and we talked with some things, and there was a lot of weird stuff that feels like it was a dream, but really wasn't, because I woke up and things were different, they said. It's kind of weird, but I feel good now.
You have undergone heroic trials.
They didn't call it that, but that might be it.
That is clearly what it is.
He beams.
You have remained strong, Boy Prophet.
I tried really hard because you told me to.
Yes. You have found the strength within.
And what about you guys? Have you been doing hero things?
Yes. I slayed an evil Illithid. It had head
What
of...
is that?
I am not sure what animal. Its head was slimy and filled with brains and appendages, which were strange.
Ew.
Yes, it was quite wicked.
He looks at Oryx and Pete.
I died. It was not good.
His eyes go wide.
I helped. Not,
You helped
not in the killing of orcs, or his resurrection. But everyone else I helped.
I'm glad you guys are okay. And he reaches down to, like, hug Oryx.
Yeah, Valor essentially like pass SP off and do a hug onto Oryx.
Oryx will wrap him up in her wings also and hug him back.
Oh. You're not dead still, right?
No. Razik fixed me.
You can fix dying?
I mean, I can.
Apparently,
But-
That's good. That's good. Because you guys do dangerous things. I won't want you to die and die. And die. I'm doing pretty good, though. Thanks for coming to visit me.
yes, and I have brought you a book of stories. It is a wondrous book. I have read it 12 times. Like, Valor takes it out and hands it to SP. Many interesting stories.
He bounces on his feet and holds out his hands, and there is a flashing memory of this same thing happening to you at a different time in a different place with different people.
Yeah, I think everyone sees like an audible, almost like, I guess not audible, but like a stillness overcomes Valor for a second, and the lights on the eyes dim and then flicker back on full. Yes, wondrous stories.
I'm probably gonna need some help because I'm still not very good with my letters and words yet. They're trying to teach me. Do you know how many letters are in an alphabet?
Lot?
A lot.
I do not recall learning how to read. I simply know how to read. This is another heroic undertaking, SP.
It's hard. Not as hard as the other things. I should make that clear.
Do you know what you will do after you leave this place? Do they have plans?
They haven't told me, and I don't really know what I'm supposed to do after that. I've always known what I have to do. I've always done the thing I'm supposed to do. I've been told what to do. But I don't have that anymore.
What do you want?
Go home? But I don't know where that is. Lork wasn't really home.
Would you like to go back and stay in Decker's place? It is very cozy.
Could I?
We'll ask her. She will perhaps be more amenable now that monsters do not spawn from you.
Oh yeah, no more monsters. Nope.
I will tell Decker that you may stay with her until I return from our heroic mission, and then you will become my ward.
He bounces again and grins.
If that is what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Until then, you must be strong.
They said that a few times. I should have died a long time ago. They said that a lot, actually.
Ah, that is why you are a hero.
Well, I mean, Oryx is a hero and Oryx died.
Twice.
Yes,
Twice?
it's true. Boy Preacher, have you died?
I don't think so.
Valor's head was turned towards Pete. There's Prophet
Not
and Boy
yet.
Preacher.
You supposed to die to be a hero?
No.
I believe that's a martyr.
I have not died, I know of. But I was not awake for some time. Is that like death?
Kinda.
Then perhaps I have died.
Huh. Anything else you guys want to say to him or like do with like hanging out with him or anything?
Valor will make a drawing for Sprite Pepsi. Essentially,
really?
a photorealistic, essentially recollection of the first time that Valor saw SP standing up on on his little soapbox, giving his little sermons.
It's like it is like photorealistic, but there's so much like artistic liberty still taken with it.
Yeah.
Where there's like light behind him.
There's like light beaming. It's very
And-
clearly like filtered through a very specific lens.
Yeah. He loves it and immediately goes to work about trying to figure out how to stick it to the wall. All right. Anything else for you guys?
I'll tell him essentially that we'll leave, but that if he wants, I can come back and visit him each day until we leave.
He would love that.
Okay. Yeah, no RP, but like,
Mm-hmm.
come back and hang out with him.
Do you help him learn how to read at all?
Yeah. Honestly, I assume that is probably something the Valor could actually do for
Yes.
read.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I will say that it becomes also, this is something that Valor has confidence that they are capable of doing anyway, but are surprised by how challenging it is, because even though everything that they do is methodical and practiced and accurate, they find themselves very burdened by the deja vu. To a point where like Sprite Pepsi notices that there is something wrong, and like there are points where you feel like there is times you just can't keep doing this because you are so very much not in the present on occasion. But I mean, you can still you still put in the effort, you still can help. It's just like you are taken aback by how surprisingly difficult it was.
Cool. That sounds good to me.
Pete,
Yes.
what you doing for the rest of the time?
I'm talking to God.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what do you say?
Hi. I'm just wondering, last time we talked, you were a person who watched dancers on beaches, and I'm just wondering, are you the same person that I talked to before?
Yes, I am.
Okay, talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, you hear the laugh as well, and yeah, and you smell salty air, which is interesting because you're still in Waterdeep, so the smell of the ocean is everywhere. This feels clean, distinct, markedly different. The vague sensation, and when your eyes kind of close in preparation for the spell, there is dancing light behind your eyes and kind of a startling brightness that takes you aback a little bit. Yeah. And the next day you cast it again?
Actually, I plan on going to church. I am
Okay.
looking for a priest. Of Lathander.
Yes. Lathander is still a major god, but the major temples in Waterdeep are dedicated to naturally sea gods. But Lathander, as heavy a presence as he would have in this area, still has a substantial temple and an impressive clergy. And yeah, you can go and find a priest.
I'm particularly looking for one that looks like they used to be an adventurer, or someone who looks weathered, someone who hasn't spent their life just in the church.
Cool. I like that. Make an insight check.
Ooh, let's pull a fae. Ooh,
Okay. I mean, that has been the move for these little bits, has been a very good roll to start.
thanks for that.
Okay, yeah, you find a woman who has long dark hair and broad shoulders and kind of angled features, and clearly has some unique scarring that, now that you're hanging around with adventurers, you recognize as specifically battle wounds and marks, not your average I tripped and hit my head on the shelf kind of scar.
Um, hi. I'm Patana Zinvin. You can call me Pete. Um, have you adventured before?
Good morning, Pete. Yes, I have. And she appears to be human, so she looks like middle-aged, a little older.
Can we talk? I have some questions.
Certainly. And would you require privacy?
Preferably.
All right. And she takes you into I almost said cell again, but I know that that's like, even though that's the right word, that's still like a different connotation. Anyway, she takes you into a private room and sits you in a comfortable chair, and she sits across from you.
This is gonna sound crazy, but does Lathander talk to you?
On occasion. Why?
How does he talk to you? Like, does he appear before you, or is he in like a flickering flame, or does he do
Are
other things?
Are you asking whether or not he personally manifests to me within a physical form?
Not necessarily, but like, does he give you explicit instructions?
On occasion, in moments that are particularly dire. More often, he manifests simply in the light of the sun and guides by that explicit light. I frequently find myself directed by sunlight to a place I am supposed to be.
Do you know why he doesn't talk to me?
Her brow knits. Well, I am not the only priest here. I wouldn't say that my particular relationship with Lathander is, by any standard, to measure your own communion. What do you mean he doesn't talk to you?
Like, I pray a lot and I ask for guidance, and Mother said that as long as the dawn comes, then it means he answered my prayers. But I don't think it does. I don't think he's talking to you at all. I'm
Pete,
trying really hard to like do good and be good, but I never seem to be in the right place at the right time to help the people that need me, and I think it's because he's not watching.
She puts a hand over your hands and says, Pete, you offer prayer and you speak to Lathander. You ask for things of him, yes?
Yeah.
Do you channel through him at all? Are you capable of magic through the divine?
I think so. I mean, that's where I get some of my spells from, but it's mostly from me. And Mother said that was blasphemous and why I had to dedicate myself to him in the first place. But if like I'm taking all this time to dedicate myself to him and I'm not getting any help in return.
What do you mean you find that you are mostly channeling through yourself?
Well, I mean, I've always been able to do this, and I've always been really good at it.
What is this? Show me. What are you speaking?
I mean, just magic in general and healing people. Like, I never needed Lathander for that, but then I was told that I had to, and so I did.
Who told you you had to?
Mother.
Why did she say that?
She said, people that can channel magic innately, that's blasphemous, and that's not right, and the power like that only belongs to gods.
Pete, it's not unheard of for people to naturally manifest magic. In fact, one of the priests here is of long descent of Avernus. There is magic to be had in blood. It is not wicked.
I don't know what I'm doing wrong.
Why do you think you're doing anything wrong? If you can communicate and speak with Lathander, and if he grants you magic even in a small amount, that is still majorly above the capabilities of many individuals, and that means that you are a cherished figure within his eyes.
I just don't understand why he doesn't put me in the right spot.
That's not his responsibility. You are supposed to be able to see where you are pointed. And
Well, how am I supposed to know if he doesn't guide me?
he can't tell you everything. Then he might as well be doing it himself here. And that is a large task even for a god.
Are you sure he's not just mad at me?
Well, what would you have done to cause him to be angry with you?
I mean, I don't know. I left home and I joined with a group of, I mean, some of them are not so great, but I don't really see a difference in between a good person doing good and a bad person doing good, and so I feel like we're doing a lot of good, but maybe that's why he's angry.
You think he's angry because there are bad people around you doing good?
Yes. Maybe.
Well, Pete, if bad people around you are doing good, I think you are exactly where you're supposed to be.
I guess. That makes sense.
Who knows if your presence has had such a profound effect?
You think so?
It's possible.
Can I come back tomorrow?
Of course. You're always welcome. Anyone is always welcome.
Okay. I mean, I have friends that don't feel so welcome, but this was nice.
She smiles.
I have to go rebuild a house that we technically destroyed. So, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay, is there any other things that you are going to be doing during this time?
Twinning haste on people helping build. I believe Valor is there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll give him haste to work faster, and then is Orc there?
Razix- Yeah, orcs. Is orcs coming?
Yeah. But
Okay,
like
cool.
after the first time that, because it only lasts for like a minute, doesn't it?
Yeah, but you can do so much in that minute. Also, I can cancel multiple times.
Just fight off the lethargy with
Yeah.
another casting.
Yep. Hey, it's only 6 seconds of lethargy.
Yeah, not bad.
60 seconds of speed.
And then I'll keep casting divination every day to talk to that person again to try and get more information from them.
All right, let's do 3 more. Let's do 4 more of those. Let's do that.
Oh. Anybody got an idea for a question? I didn't think that far. Like Valor, I do not plan.
Suppose, I guess not if
Did-
you're like
Did you ask who they were already?
I didn't ask specifically a
I
name.
feel like, yeah, I feel like you didn't ask their name.
No.
Yeah.
All right, K2. Hi, me again. Just our daily questioning. What's your name?
Lyra.
Oh, that's a nice name. Okay, talk to you tomorrow. Hi, me again. Gosh, I don't think I introduced myself. My name is Patana Zinvin, the Dawnbringer, but you can call me Pete. Everybody does. Where are you? But specifically like the plane, not like a beach.
You hear more laughter, and you say, I know who you are, Pete. I'm in Elysium.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, talk to you tomorrow. And then I'm gonna relay that information to Faye. And see if she wants anything else in particular from that. From Lyra.
She had her headphones off for a sec. What was that?
I'm gonna relay the information of Lyra from Elysium to see if if she wants to glean anything else from her.
Oh. Pete, you got someone real good looking out for you.
Oh.
Elysium is a place that is essentially a planar paradise, something that materialized out of chaos into something that is, by all recordings, the most beautiful thing in existence, and anything that has a right to be there mirrors that, at least in some small way. Either through natural beauty, or beauty of the spirit, or beauty of kindness, or something to that effect.
Well, that's good.
I mean, it does explain a little bit.
Is there a question you want me to ask?
Is there a question you want to ask? This is someone who looks over you, and they could probably answer anything that's within their power to answer. If you have any big questions about anything, this could be the time to ask them and have your questions answered. I have someone looking out for me now, in whatever small way that means, and I think if I have questions, I'll ask there.
Okay.
Even if I don't always get a reply that I like.
Hi, me again. So I have a group of friends, and there's a chance that we may need to escape to another plane for safety. Would all of my friends be safe if we went to Elysium?
They'd be safe. I don't know if they would be comfortable.
Oh, well, that's fine. They've been uncomfortable multiple times. Okay, thanks. Talk to you tomorrow. Hi, me again. If you get a chance, could you tell Athander that I'm sorry? And if he's mad at me, I didn't mean to. And if he could send like a sign or a signal or something, I'd really appreciate it.
You find yourself falling backwards in a sphere of dazzling light that is so intense that you feel like you have to close your eyes until you realize your eyes are already shut. And you feel nauseous and you are spinning and reeling. And then... Oh, sorry about that. And and the light dances away and sparkles out in these bright, like it's so dazzling that at first it appears white, but as they begin to twinkle out, you see that they're a rainbow of colors that slowly fade, and just says, "You don't need to worry about Lathander. I'm here."
Oh. Well, thank you. I'm gonna switch out the spell because
We're about to travel, and so I may not be able to talk to you for a little bit. But I do appreciate you looking over and extending your home as a safe haven for me and my friends.
You feel a very familiar gesture that reminds you of home, where there is the hand of someone on your shoulder and then one that just goes up to stroke your hair very softly, and then it fades.
oh, that's nice.
Oryx, what you doing?
Still helping. And then once I don't know how. I mean, I'm assuming it'll take more than the 5 days that we're here to rebuild that place. But if she has some time, she will go see if there is anything she can do in the Kobold Warrens in the field.
Sure. There's very little required tunneling needed. In fact, because so many kobolds are moving out, there is plenty of vacant space. And you can help, organize. You can help organize kobolds in packs and groups that can be then sent out eastward safely. And as you're talking and meeting and speaking with different kobolds of very clearly different regions, dialects, and upbringings and stuff, their voices sound familiar, even though obviously you've never met most of them. You recall, when they say your name out loud, it sounds like you've heard it before. And the more time you spend here, the more it just kind of this ghost memory of these voices just begins to kind of pull a little bit at your senses, and not in any unsettling way. It feels comforting to have those sounds be with you and always there. And it's not particularly loud, and it's very easy to even tune out, and there are times where you don't hear it at all. But the more time you are with these kobolds, the more familiar they are, and not even in the typical social sense. You instinctively know more about, you begin to anticipate even requests, needs, and intentions before they make themselves manifest amongst the kobolds.
Okay. And while she's there, she also wants to, not just organize people to head through to Lork and things like that. She also wants to try to do something for the kobolds who have chosen to remain. They can dig and tunnel and things like that, but she has the strength to do stuff that they may not be able to do.
Of course. Sure, yeah. Do you have an idea of what that looks like?
I'm actually thinking it's kind of along the lines of construction of actual facilities rather than just a cave. Just instead of just a kind of featureless area where they can all congregate and where they're all, just sort of everything being multi-purpose. She can also she can build stuff. She can kind of And I know defenses sounds kind of weird when we're inside Waterdeep, but essentially like an area that can serve to keep, how do I say this, the kobold facilities away from the area that anyone else would come down into, so that when they have non-kobold guests in the Warrens, which I'm assuming is incredibly rare, but it's still Waterdeep, so stuff happens, the kobolds who might want to stay away from all of that still have a place to go, with actual like doors and not. I'm not trying to build a city under here.
Right.
But like just
A community
couple-
center.
something like that, yeah. And
Yeah.
it would be simple because I mean I'm not like, one, there's limited time, and two, her building know-how, her construction know-how is still sort of limited.
Mm-hmm.
But between leatherworking, like doors and walls that are
Yeah, and
not
I
a
think
hard structure, but still something that's private.
right. I think this goes over very well, particularly because by nature, they like you guys are designed to defend yourselves, and warrens are built so that they can be easily defended, and creating what becomes like, you know, permanent structuring that is designed to make them feel as if they are defended goes over very well. And even if your toolkit is limited in that capacity, enough of them are clever enough and, you know, have recall from past experience to make some semblance of this idea manifest properly and effectively. I like that a lot. Anything else for you?
Off the top of my head.
Okay. So 5 days pass. The morning of, actually, you're as you are instructed, you know, by dawn, you tell your guards if you're leaving that you're leaving, but they take the cuffs from you at that time, and then go to report that you have all been released from your house arrest.
Oh, I thought this was like permanent.
No.
Only 5 days, shortest parole ever.
It was going to be 10, but somebody thought very carefully to include details about your guys' future plans, and so they took that into consideration.
Yeah. Speaking of which, when's the next full moon? When that be in the calendar?
In
How long do we
17
have?
days.
Yeah.
Can we get there in 17 days? Or less then?
Get where?
The
That's a
12
good question.
articles?
We
Yeah.
literally have to we have to complete our God, I can't fucking think today. We have to complete our parole so that they will open up their services to us so that we know where we even need to go, if anywhere at all. That's why we're on parole. Well, part of the reason.
The whole
It's
enemies
why-
of the state.
Yeah, it's one of the main reasons why we can't just fuck off and ignore their parole.
Well then, day 5, after we get our stuff done, we heading up to the Open Lord at Old Business and be like, or the Blackstaff Tower for some scrying.
Sure. If that's what you're
Oh,
doing.
I'm asking the table.
It seems sensible considering we don't necessarily have another lead at the moment, do we?
We
do
do
any
not.
of us happen to know, like, what materials are needed for the scrying that we want to do, or
Should
okay?
should we head back to the place where they held us initially and make sure that everyone understands that we've completed our parole?
I mean,
Uh,
took the things off, so I think we're done.
yeah, I think we're good.
I mean, I guess it doesn't hurt to double check.
And Sarah, are we waiting for correspondence from them? I believe that was what was happening before we went on house arrest.
Yeah, what were your questions again? So I have them, so I can actually answer them.
So we didn't have specific questions. They were basically just like, we need to go through like a short refractory period where we need to set some shit up for you. And then they were like, and then our services will be open to you.
Oh no, that was handled like within the first like day or two after. Like, what the conversation
okay.
was you talk to Decker about anything you need, and she will get that information to you.
Okay, fucking fantastic. Let's do that then. We need location information on the on our subjects. Is like the first thing we need, and then we need to figure something out from there.
So
we're
the troll.
gonna try to get them to fucking scry for us. Again.
Yeah. You can do that. You want me to just?
Becca?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something else that we are going to need. If we are to be true allies of Waterdeep, as we would like, and the expectation is that we are going to help protect Waterdeep, we will need some place within Waterdeep that has a little more room than either your apartment or Faye's work cubicle. I just so happen to know a piece of land within Waterdeep whose occupants have recently been vacated. I would propose that we be given proprietorship of that piece of land so that we can use it as a base of operations.
If I am to understand the legality of what just went on, that will not be possible. Correct?
What place are you talking about exactly, Raz?
The mansion we blew up.
Well, that's somebody's house.
I think
No,
she
the
the
other
Beast
one.
Lord place.
Yeah, we killed the Beast Lord and all the occupants of that particular piece of land.
Ah, yeah, I can ask about that. That what you want?
As far as I understand it, the government has reclaimed that land and will probably auction it off, right?
Bren says, "Are you talking about the place where you all found me?"
Well, not specifically, but there was a portal to the place where we found you, yes, on the premises.
I mean, that land is technically a demi-plane that really would have belonged exclusively to the fellow you all called the Beast Lord. And, well, he's dead.
He doesn't have a will, I don't assume.
I am asking for both places.
He
and
didn't write anything down.
I am asking for both places, and the council can decide what they would like or to give us or not.
Okay, I can ask.
Okay, thank you.
Oh,
What, do you
should
think
I-
that'll be like a leasing situation? I look at Razik and then look at. I realize I'm talking to Razik, and then I go, I rescind that question.
Okay.
Should I RP out asking Decker to harbor Sprite Pepsi?
Okay, I've made it this long without having a kid. This is a lot to ask of me. I'm gonna be honest.
It is
Well-
a temporary arrangement.
If Sprite Pepsi needs a place to stay, I have a sister with like 4 kids, or no, 3 kids already. I'm a bad sister.
About to
Um,
before.
I mean, she runs like an inn outside of town, like a couple miles outside of Waterdeep, for people who are waiting to get processed through customs. And her husband is nice. Neither of the kids are hers. I guess it doesn't matter. They're not. Well, I guess they are hers by marriage. Sorry, it's not important. What is important is that if Sprite Pepsi needs a place to stay, I mean, for however long, I am intimately close to a mother who probably could take care of that.
Decker points at you, Faye, with a little finger gun.
Could you help Sprite Pepsi to get there, Decker?
Yeah, I can do that.
Perhaps look out for him until we return.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. On one hand, I do want to be helpful, but on the other hand, I am slightly worried that if a demon pops out of a hole somewhere. My sister isn't exactly what you might call weapons oriented, and her husband is very nice, but I'm afraid he is not trained in any sort of martial arts or anything like that.
Okay, I'll stick around for a couple of days, make sure everything's fine, but I'm not adopting the kid.
Sprite Pepsi told us that that's been dealt with. He doesn't talk to not Tyr anymore.
I mean, yeah, it's like not gonna stop me from worrying.
Okay, what are the exact questions you want Decker to get answers to?
Okay, so we need location data on... Let me find my list. A man named Royce Tangwood. The last member of the Craven Coven, who I don't have her name written down.
Auntie Agatha.
Auntie Agatha. And, a possibility of Lord Liaktu Zvim? Who is
Liaktu
presumed
Zim.
deceased, but...
Liaktu Zim is the guy that
got
Sprite
crushed.
Pepsi's been talking to.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit!
Did you catch that?
I think I might have caught that and written it down separate from these notes, and then I never just incorporated it. Well, shit.
There's also there is a black dragon that's not on that list.
That is accurate,
Replaced Straxel.
but we don't know if that black dragon is working with Decanter. We don't know that. We could assume that because it's powerful and lives in the area that it might have some sort of agreement with Decanter, but while it is important to the whole Kobold thing, it's not necessarily important to our list, our hit list. But yeah, if you want to get some scrying on that, fuck it. We got an open door policy.
Okay. Okay. Rolls Tangwood. They tell you... Well, Decker relays all of this, She says that it was very challenging to find him because there seems to be some kind of ward against connecting and scrying on him. I mean, go figure. But unlike a regular scry where you make this, mechanically you make the save, and if you make it, then it just doesn't work. What is showing up instead is a very hazy image that is very difficult to interpret, and shifts and changes quite frequently. But Rolst Hangwood, you can find you are given his location. He's again in the very large Trollbark forest, but him and his what you learn, the tribe of the Clawed Hood, have a very specific location that appears to be partially underground, and they hunt the trolls in the Trollbark Forest and eat them. And again, like with some of this information, like if you were going to say like, hey, can we get a teleport to this location? That would either like be, walk through trees or an actual teleportation. You would be granted that. So I'm not going to give you like, here's his exact address, because like you would be taken close by no matter what if you use these resources,
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, just to interrupt with a thought, they eat trolls?
Yeah.
What a terrible idea!
They...
Why? Why do they do that?
Because they can.
I mean, I guess it's a good way to cull the population, and it's, if you eat an arm, it grows back, I suppose. It's like some sort of weird, fucked up veal farm.
It's a renewable.
I hate
food
it.
source.
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. How do you have to... I don't like that I'm asking the question to myself. How do you have to prepare a troll so it doesn't grow back inside of you? I hate that I have to think about that. Fuck.
Cook it with
This is a
fire.
gastric nightmare.
You cook it with fire the same way you'd cook anything.
Cooking is just alchemy.
It's just how... Okay. Faye's would be extremely into this. But me personally, as Lily, no, fuck that. Fuck that for real. Fuck this whole thing for real.
Poisonous?
No,
Just
no.
those ones.
So here's the thing: is some of them are because they don't take care of their skin and get like pustules. But the fucking trolls have a natural regenerative property, which is halted temporarily by fire. So I guess if you just like char the thing on the outside, I don't know, would probably do it. That's still fucked up. I hate
Fire and acid,
that. I guess you could give it an acid bath before you chow down on it.
stomach
What the fuck are you
acid.
talking about, Ted?
Stomach acid. While you're digesting the troll, he's not regenerating.
Right. Well, what if you can't digest the troll faster than it's regenerating?
Yeah, that's. I hate this. I hate that we're talking about this.
All right. Anyway, more important information on the Clawed Hood is that they are, in some degree, considered locally very important because, again, they eat trolls. They do help control the population.
Oh well, yeah, that would be a good thing. The Trollbark Forest is a nightmare.
Yeah, they are considered locally helpful. Not heroes necessarily, but they're not enemies of us. They're not enemies per se. And who else we got? Auntie Agatha. She is in the... Okay, so Trollbark Forest is to the south of you guys, almost directly. Like a few days' travel, not as far as even... Well, it's past Daggerford? It is past Daggerford. Yeah, it's past Daggerford. Auntie Agatha is in the High Forest, which is eastward, north of Secomber. And she is not what I would consider in good condition. Any attempts on scrying on her do see her, but she seems to be phasing in and out of like the ethereal very frequently, or possibly the fae. There are times where she's there, and there's times she's not. And she's not doing regular hag things of, just sowing chaos for the sake of being evil. She is reserved and not doing hardly anything ever, except moving in and out of this weird state, and barely even leaving her house.
That's really sad, Sarah.
I know.
Sarah, no, I'm sad now. We killed her sisters, and I feel bad about that. And now she's got some sort of like terminal something. This makes me upset. I hate that this is the person we have to go assassinate. Because, like, we can't leave her alone, right? I mean, I guess if she, like, repents good enough, she's not gonna want to talk to us. We killed her sisters. She's probably aware of that. Fuck.
Well, are we leaving that one for last? It's gonna be sadder the longer she holds on.
Yeah, it really is. It really is getting worse by the second.
So
love-
then that's
I
gonna
was
be a real good bounty when I collect.
Lily's up here like, this is just so sad, and Jude's in the background like, yes.
Oh man.
We're two sides of
Bask
a
in the tears.
we're two sides of a misery coin. It's a terrible, toxic, endless loop.
Okay, and and you cannot scry on Lakfu Zim, but you do know that, like, I mean, he got crushed, but gods and demons and all those good things don't necessarily always stay dead for long, as evidenced by the fact he did definitely possess your boy Sprite Pepsi.
You have to walk into their plane and kill them on their home turf, which is even harder to do than when you do it in real life. It's like what is that guy? Freddy Krueger? It's Freddy Krueger rules, so you gotta kill him in the dream.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Kruger rules.
Can we just get another demon to go and deal with that for us?
Do you have any fucking demon buddies you want to call up?
I have an
I
angel
don't know.
friend.
He's like a demigod, dog. Like, I don't know what you want. Like, we could probably barely pull that off. We don't want to send someone else to do it.
You do have some promising leads on that information, though, which is that his connection, like, because you guys know what you know about him, his attachment to the material plane's pretty thin, and you did just end his connection with at least one of his cultists, I guess is the right word.
Yes, that would technically be the correct word. We had information from Sprite Pepsi about what those cultists called themselves, correct?
I don't think so.
He mentioned a name, but I didn't write it down.
I don't remember what that was.
Yeah. It feels like it would be probably good to check up on that. Just see if we can root out any Bane cults. I mean, it's not like I guess we could. We probably won't be able to have time to do that because we're on a crunch right now. That's probably something I think I will ask for them to try to do over whatever course of time they can do it.
Sure.
If they manage it, even if it's just checking the city, like some mild Inquisition type work, because like we really can't do the footwork on that right now, but it would be good to know, and probably good to just like capture and cleanse anyone who seems to be maintaining his tether as well.
Sure. I mean, I think you can absolutely have that done. You can ask for that to be done, and they will do what they can.
It's better than we could do, which is nothing.
Correct.
Great. Okay. That's all for me. Does anyone else have any questions or ideas?
I mean, obviously what is rather not what, but like I don't know who to be more concerned about. I mean, probably the fucking werewolf, right? Considering the scrying was hazy, etc., etc. That's the dude with the plans.
These werewolves kill and eat trolls. Like, they're fucking badasses for sure.
Yeah, but like I feel like there's some sort of reckoning, something coming, right? Or some sort of summoning.
Summoning? I don't think so. I mean, like, we're gonna hit the full moon and they're gonna go fucking apeshit. But what I'm saying is,
I think there early, we can
Nip it in the bud.
Oh yeah, we might be able to
just try to figure out what's going on. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, we can absolutely try to deal with them before the full moon. But if there's a way to do it without butchering the people who keep the troll population down, that seems a better way to do it. I don't know.
In an ideal world, you drop
This-
in, you do recon, you kill the dude at the top that's working with Decanter, and then fucking leave.
I mean,
That's not how that's gonna work.
so here's the thing: is we have to probably take into account like an animalistic instinct, which is that if we try to overthrow the current alpha of the pack, there will be a new one, but it's very likely that they were loyal to the alpha before, so they'll probably just ape his behavior like all the way down, which is problematic. I think if we could do this one through some sort of diplomacy or like subtlety that we just have not managed out at this point. Because like even our little reconnaissance mission against the Duke ended in violent splat kill dead, but like really, I agree with Ted in that we probably shouldn't be just like scorched earth murdering all these guys. It will create a very large regional problem that could spread into a possibly national problem.
So my question is sorry, the werewolves, and so Sarah, you mentioned that they were like regarded as people who like keep the ecosystem in balance and keep like troll populations at like a decent level. But do like the common people, like the denizens of the forest and whatever places they may live, interact with them at all? Do they like have some sort of rapport, or do they go up and talk to them, or are these dudes just like
They are kept
barbarians?
I think that's probably the way to describe them, is that people would consider them savages because they do, like, because of what they do, and particularly because like they are a werewolf pack. Like they are potentially contagious, and like with lycanthropy, you know, like if there, the possibility that these people would be considered civil has been negated, like largely because people are so concerned that if they happen to not be, that just they can severely hurt the the humanoid population, you know.
Right.
Like it is an active choice to not find out whether or not these people are the Claude Hood is considered decent, diplomatic, or anything, you know.
Right. Well, I mean, we're gonna find out, and we're gonna find out fucking hard, I guess.
Razik, when you ask about the possibility of the exploding mountain, the information that comes back is that it seems like some sort of tunnel was either created or collapsed. It looks, there is not a, like, with enough peeking and scrying and other things happening, there doesn't appear to be new exits or entrances. The Grey Peaks are full of tunnels, which you guys know. In fact, like, enough of this explosion that appears to have altered part of the western face of the mountains, and potentially collapsing and destroying some of those tunnels. Is that it for you guys?
Would they be able to just show me Lork? Like Ted recognized that clairvoyance would do it, but Orcs would have no idea.
I think that there would. I mean, even still, NPC magic can still be a little flexible. Yeah, you can see the state of Lork. It does not look torched. It does not look like whatever. The explosion that was being spoken of, even though it was relatively close to Lork, actually appears to be appeared more towards the, what's it called? The secondary pass, the southern pass, that is the technically safer path through the Grey Peaks. So Lork is safe from whatever it was, any natural disaster that could have happened, Lork is unaffected by. And the people seem to be fine. If you want to see your little tribe, is that what you want to do?
Uh-huh.
Okay. There is not an unexpected, but altogether like kind of surprised, crowded space as kobolds are trying to make room for each other and also like continue to work to communicate with the human population so that like they can find use within the city, because we talked about like them possibly working to tunnel for like sewers or like creating basements, like other things that they can do to contribute to the community. So there is negotiation, discussion, and trying to figure out the best way to integrate the two while also maintaining the distance that the kobolds truly want still. And it is very densely packed, but it is quickly growing roomier, and the earth around like that initial tunnel has shifted substantially as things have been tunneled and moved and pulled, and the earth has been shaped and changed. It reaches down deep nearly to the water level, and it looks fine and healthy. Admittedly sometimes confused because of slight culture clashing, but everyone looks good.
Excellent.
Anything else specific you want to look at?
No.
Okay. Anything else for you guys?
If we're using these for personal reasons, I'd love to check up on Taymorden. Specifically, you know what the fuck I'm gonna say.
Yes, our favorite Kiwi.
Okay. Taymorden looks fine. They have moved again southward towards a denser, like, moister environment, which means the crops that they have usually move and transplant aren't being transplanted, but the soil is being, like, the wet earth is being used on top of, like, of the plants that they've already moved and things like that. So everything's, like, kept in their carts. People have crafted and organized, like, more or less temporary roads that can keep you dry as you walk through some of the marshier soil. The people that you know look fine, like Vivian and Agnes. Like Agnes, like I've said before, was looking really stressed, but she's less so now. And I mean, okay, I'll just get to it. Tiffany is ornery as always, but particularly because like her cart keeps sinking in the mud, so she has to continually move it because of how heavy it is. And so she is like functionally working on some sort of device or idea or some sort of platform that could theoretically keep it level and elevated. But that's not, she's not an inventive type, so this isn't really her forte, and like that is causing her to be more stressed and frustrated. But other than that, like besides her normal temperament, she seems fine.
Does she still have the cameo?
Of course.
I am going to, as I'm watching this, pull out a notebook and start designing what is essentially land ballast.
Anything else?
Before we leave town, I would love to buy materials for and create my land ballast.
I don't know how much that should cost.
Probably not very much. It would probably just be basically like wood,
Mm-hmm.
just like wood and materials, something
That's
to
all?
slot onto the side of a car. I mean, you probably need studs and shit to hold the wood together, but yeah, I mean, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to
It's-
think of
it's
the
more like
scale
an-
of it, though,
The difficulty
because
in
her
creating
cart is so
something,
big.
yeah, the difficulty in creating something like that would be the dispersal of the weight. But if you could do it with the right materials, especially if you know how to use magic,
Right. I'm gonna
shouldn't
say
be
you
that
can take
difficult.
20 gold. That seems like a little bit high, but I feel like that's
What if
enough.
What if I pay 50 and I just get like really dope materials and fucking style on it super hard, even though I don't need to?
Naturally.
Yeah, dope.
Okay, folks. And how would you like to be traveling?
Griffins.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. But I feel like there'd be some people
Right.
who have a
She's
problem with that.
She said how you would like, not how you can afford.
Exactly.
Teleport. Teleport us to the place we're going. Direct.
Teleport via trees, or just teleportation?
I don't care.
Is there like a settlement that's not the fucking Claude Hood out in the Drillbark Forest?
Yeah, there are, there's outside the Trollbark Forest. I've got to look up its name, but I will type it in once I find it. But yeah, if you want to go to the town, you can do that.
Zira and I need to go on a day trip before we leave for real.
Oh, jeez.
Oh jeez.
You best believe. I'm holding you to that shit.
Oh,
Oh, this is gonna be so bad.
Oh, this is
Oh,
gonna be
it's gonna
such
be
a bad
so,
idea.
so good though.
such a bad
This is gonna be
idea.
the worst idea.
If only we could hit the bottom of the barrel and then it'll all be up from there.